All right. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. We out here chilling and grilling. Want to make sure that everything's on the up and up. This is a viewer's pick, so whatever y'all want to see, that's what we're gonna do. Not whatever, because this isn't a whatever stream. Crime, murder, mystery, thriller, something, a story, uh, murder mystery podcast, something. I'm all for it. Scary stories. So if you like that type of stuff, it's gonna be somewhat of a long-ish stream. Make sure you guys like the video, share the video, helps the video grow, helps my channel grow, everything like that. If you guys continuously like this kind of stuff, I want to do more. I want to do more of this, period. But to show me that you guys like this type of stuff, it helps when contribute and support, like you guys always do. But obviously, want to grow at. I'm almost to 1,000 videos on this channel, so that the numbers are growing as far as that. But I also want to see like more people and more people engaged. I think it's fun. I think this is. I have the most fun when I'm live and people are talking and engaged in the chat and all that kind of stuff. That's where I have my fun. So I enjoys that quite a bit. In comparison to just talking to myself on camera, that's like, it's alright. But yeah, I'm gonna let people trickle in as we go. You know. And if you don't know, also I have a Patreon where it has exclusive content that I can't post on YouTube, or I post it but it gets blocked and whatever from Google Ads and all types of stuff. But if you want to support me, go to my Patreon. I have almost like 100 or so videos out there that I don't post on YouTube, or it's early access from my YouTube channel. But yeah, it's a lot that goes down, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I continuously like post like questions and anything that people want, recommendations of videos that I could get to it right there and then. Hey, what's up? What's good? Welcome to the Strizzy stream. About to start. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. How do you say your name? It's like JVNGKAE. How you even say that? I'm gonna call you K because it's K A E at the end. I don't even know I don't even know how to pronounce it. Is that even a word? Or is that Russian? Like, what's up? Hey, look. Don't hurt me. But yeah. People could post like any recommended videos or whatever on the Patreon, and I get to it quick in a jiffy, well, as quick as I can. But yeah. So this particular video that we're about to step into, before we get any recommendations or anything, detectives, or let me see. Yeah, detectives have never seen such brutality. The case of Valerie Reyes, true crime documentary. I like documentaries. I didn't want something like super long to start out. Something like pretty short. Short documentaries are like 30, 45 minutes, So definitely wanted to go ahead and see about that. Make sure everybody, because I always know that somebody's going to trickle in, and then, got to give them a little backstory to what it is. But hey, let's get it. Yeah.
Love is a wonderful feeling. When you start dating someone, you often mentally gauge whether you could spend your entire life with them. If the answer is no, it's best not to prolong the relationship, as you never know what's going on in the other person's mind. Valerie Reyes met a young man and then entered into a relationship that cost her her life. The most unusual aspect of this entire case is that the girl predicted her own demise. Valerie Reyes was born on April 1st, 1994, in New Rochelle, New York. to Sal and Norma. She had an older brother and 2 younger siblings. As the only daughter, Valerie shared a close bond with her mother, who nurtured her passionate love for all things related to art. Her creative personality shone through in everything she did. Valerie was a gentle, compassionate, and selfless girl who truly worked hard for what she wanted to achieve in life. From childhood, she was very homely, loved to read extensively, and preferred spending her free time not at parties, but with close friends and family. After graduating from high school in 2012, Valerie enrolled at New Rochelle College, where she made many new friends. Acquaintances described her as a happy, loving, and genuinely kind person. The Reyes family was very tight-knit, with one day a week, Sunday, considered their...
It usually starts out with a love story or an infatuation. That's usually how it starts. It's like some circle of that, you know?
Family day. Valerie always eagerly anticipated the weekends. They would all gather together and have fun playing board games, going for walks in the park, or visiting a family-friendly cafe.
You have a killer
Hey,
Not so killer.
Most of the time when it comes to like these
Valerie
tragic stories, it's someone like it's usually not random, you know?
continued to goof around and have fun with her younger brothers, even though she herself had long since outgrown childhood. Around them, she transformed into a laughing, carefree, and mischievous girl. The rest of the time, she worked at a bookstore located in a shopping mall in East Chester. She enjoyed this job because of the opportunity to read and recommend books to customers. She could share a great deal about literature of various genres and styles. Even when visiting a cafe, Valerie was always reading. She loved singing in her apartment, taking long walks, going on hiking trips. But her true passion was art and creative self-expression. Valerie drew portraits of her friends and classmates.
Yeah, it's always usually someone either they're close to, someone that they know of, past relationship or what friendship. Like, it doesn't even have to be like a love story, but like someone within correlation that they've seen before, you know?
And aspired to become a tattoo artist like her older brother, adorning clients' bodies with her own unique designs. Her dream was to open her own tattoo parlor, and she tirelessly worked towards achieving this distant goal. Previously, Valerie simply allowed her brother to practice tattooing on her, but then she unexpectedly fell in love with this art form herself. She had the soul of an artist. Overall, Valerie was a positive person, although she periodically struggled with bouts of anxiety and depression. Creativity and self-expression helped her overcome these states. Around January 2018, Valerie met a man named Javier on a website. The young couple dated for only about 3 months before breaking up in April 2018. Javier was more interested in the relationship than Valerie herself, which she told her friends. The girl saw no future in this short-term romance. Tension grew between them, and the student chose not to torment herself or the guy, suggesting they part ways. The enamored Javier was unwilling to accept reality and continued to call and write to her, devising various reasons to do so.
He got attachment issues, so he doesn't know how to let go, so possessive.
In September 2018, a few months after the breakup, he messaged Valerie, saying he wanted to reimburse some money allegedly taken from her card. Apparently, Javier had somehow accidentally used her debit card information for an online purchase, and now wanted to refund the amount he had spent. How this happened is unknown. Whether Valerie gave him this card herself, or the data remained on the computer from when they were dating. Friends, over 90% of viewers watch videos without subscribing to the channel. Check if you're subscribed. If not, please be so kind as to
Yeah, check if you're subscribed, because I actually have quite a bit of people that be checking the channel out, and you be looking like that.
subscribe to the channel to support me. The girl was already tired of Javier constantly seeking reasons to communicate, so she planned to ask her friend to deal with the money issue to avoid giving her ex-boyfriend any unnecessary opportunities. After this incident, the The guy seemed to finally understand that everything was over between them and calmed down for a while. For several months, there was no word from him. By that time, Valerie had turned 24. She lived alone in a rented basement apartment in New Rochelle. Given her previous psychological states, living in solitude did not boost her self-confidence. Panic attacks and anxiety began to return more frequently. The girl had been living alone for quite some time, but in recent weeks, she had started to worry more and feel paranoid due to the absence of loved ones nearby. The day before, on Sunday, Valerie spent the entire day with her family. Everything was going wonderfully, and there were no reasons for concern. At least, that's how it seemed from the outside. But on Monday, January 28th...
See, my question is, how would you be able to gauge somebody as like a straight up lunatic? You know what I mean? Like when you thought everything was good, broke everything off, whatever. Time passes by, don't hear nothing from the person, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden, like, your life gets flipped upside down. That's crazy. Like,
2019, Valerie called her mother in a panic, claiming that she felt like she was going to die soon, that her life would be taken.
That's a weird feeling to have. Like, how can you possibly have that type of feeling where it's like, oh yeah, I feel like I'm gonna die. Like, if you've ever had somebody in your family, friend group, whatever, and you had like that gut feeling where you felt like something really bad happened, and then something really bad happened, like somebody passing away, I understand that. Like I used to be able to sense stuff before they happen, but yeah, that's a crazy one. Is like to feel like you're going to die when. I mean, there's no like true context behind what she said because we haven't got to that point, but that's a crazy one for sure.
It's impossible to imagine what Norma felt when she heard such words from her daughter. Valerie sounded so frightened, as if there were some real omens of what she was talking about. Such a sudden change in her mood and thoughts was not accidental. Norma knew that just 5 days ago, her daughter had broken up with yet another boyfriend and was clearly upset by everything happening in her life. The woman did her best to calm her daughter, inviting her to come to the family home if she felt so lonely. However, Valerie, without properly explaining anything, hastened to end the conversation. Norma decided that the best thing to do at the moment was simply to let her daughter rest. In any case, they planned to meet the next day and go shopping together, so she wished Valerie all the best, said a few encouraging words, and, amid the daily hustle and bustle, put the conversation out of her mind. Later that same evening, Valerie sent her mother a message, wishing her a good night and reassuring her that she was feeling better. In addition to Norma, she was texting with her best friend, Jeffrey Anderson.
So obviously there's forewarning that like something serious is happening. This is what I kind of don't understand, and it seems like a perpetual thing that goes on with these types of stories is that action isn't taken like to the extreme how it should be. It's like, oh, I'll just stop talking to this person, or oh, I'll just avoid this situation, and it doesn't normally go like that, you know. Like you can't go wrong with taking this to the extreme and like getting police involved or detectives involved or whatever the case may be. I don't know. They haven't really, gave us too much information still, as far as what's going on. More of like the mother's perspective. But this type of stuff you can't play with. I mean, you hear so many stories about it. You'd figure, like a lot of people wouldn't think that, oh, that wouldn't happen to me. I think of all scenarios like the worst. If anything, you put yourself in the worst case scenario. And then what would you do? But I feel like everything within this should be taken to the 10th degree.
They had been friends for almost 10 years, and Valerie also told him about her worries. After talking it out, the girl indeed felt a certain boost in energy and mood, and since she needed to get up for work in the morning, she went to bed. On Tuesday, January 29th, Norma planned to meet with her daughter in the afternoon, but she did not respond to calls or messages. The woman did not endlessly call, assuming that as soon as Valerie came to her senses, she would dial her mother's number herself and explain everything. The woman was not too worried, thinking that her daughter must have fallen asleep because she had been nervous the day before and now simply turned off her phone so as not to be disturbed. Norma did not know that her daughter had not shown up for work that day. No call came from her on Tuesday or Wednesday. The girl did not respond to friends or relatives and missed another shift at the bookstore. Skipping workdays without any explanation was not at all in Valerie's character, so the department management also thoroughly tried to reach the girl. That's when Norma remembered how on Monday night, her daughter was experiencing some strange anxiety about her own life. The mother began to suspect that something odd was happening. All calls were now being forwarded directly to voicemail, and when the woman found out that her daughter had not shown up at the bookstore for 2 days, she became genuinely frightened. After the parents reported Valerie's disappearance to the New Rochelle Police Department, photographs of the girl and a description of her distinguishing features were distributed throughout the area. Such hasty actions were the result of several recent attacks on women in the vicinity where Valerie lived, which ended quite dismally. The first thing the police did was visit Valerie's apartment, where they found no signs of a struggle or break-in. But everywhere there were noticeable random tiny specks of blood on the pillowcases, in the toilet, and on the bathroom floor. This did not arouse any suspicions, as the smallest splatters could have remained after cutting a small frame while brushing teeth, or perhaps the girl had started bleeding. The detectives were alerted by something else. Valerie's phone, iPad, wallet, some of her clothes, and a small pillow were missing from the apartment. The first thing that came to the investigators' minds was that
What's good, y'all? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate y'all for being here.
Girl had run away. Perhaps she had gotten involved in something criminal or was hiding from someone. That's how the police reasoned. But the parents categorically disagreed with this assumption. They were 100% sure that Valerie would have notified them of her departure in any case. She would never have just left, making them worry about her.
Yeah, I think at this point the guy has her hostage, because in no way, shape, or form, if you're trying to keep somebody for a long time, that's what you usually take is like all the valuables. But then again, if you don't want to be traced or tracked in any way, you want to take those things and dispose of them or leave them where they're at. So I don't really know.
Norma told the police about her daughter's anxious thoughts before her disappearance. The girl believed that someone wanted her dead. Now the woman was berating herself for not properly questioning Valerie about the origin of such thoughts in her head. She thought it might be somehow related to her daughter's personal life and the recent breakup. Therefore, Valerie's ex-boyfriend, whom she had broken up with a few days earlier, was the first to come under suspicion. However, the guy was soon excluded from the list because he actively participated in the search for his girlfriend and had an alibi.
That's usually the red flag. For me, it is. So it's like a 50-50. You know what I mean? Because you're the ex-boyfriend. And a lot of times, especially in these movies, that's how they like to maneuver, is close to the information or the information given. So then they know how to move. And all of a sudden it's just like they can't seem to keep up. He's always one step ahead because he's closer than you expect. Come on. That's big player moves.
Bye.
That's big player moves. That's why I would always say 50-50. Like, I keep it under wraps for like the detectives, but I wouldn't tell them. I wouldn't tell the guy.
Next few days, the police, along with the Reyes family and friends of the missing girl, turned to social media users for help, and the response was immediate. One of Valerie's friends reported seeing her near the New Rochelle train station a couple of days ago. The student was wearing a dark green coat, black jeans, and black shoes. Another message claimed that Valerie was spotted in Manhattan. Others said they had encountered a similar-looking girl in one of the city's bars. The police checked each lead and found that none of these statements were true. To understand where the young girl could have actually gone, the police decided to track the activity on her bank account. Soon they discovered that money had been withdrawn from Valerie's debit card at several ATMs in New Rochelle, totaling over $10,000. The police requested surveillance camera footage from the bank at the ATM.
Yeah, see, that would have been my first thing, was like get surveillance, because in surveillance you get almost just about anything. Time steps, direction of the vehicle or which way they came from, the license plate of the vehicle, the vehicle itself, people that she's with or around. Yeah, how much money withdrawn and whatever.
But it would take time to verify the girl's movement pattern that morning.
Yeah.
In one of the recordings, detectives found a girl matching Valerie's description. She was caught on a surveillance camera near the bank early in the morning of January 30th. The footage was shown to her mother, Norma, who confirmed that the stranger did indeed resemble her daughter in some way, and a seed of hope sprouted in the mother's heart. Photos of the girl were posted in the media with a request to report any known details about her whereabouts. It was also mentioned that Valerie had recently been suffering from anxiety and depression. Despite numerous public appeals, no new information on the case was received. The police had absolutely no leads in the Valerie Reyes case for a week, and on February 5th, 2019, she was found. A group of workers in Greenwich, Connecticut around 8 a.m. were performing routine road work in a wooded area about 10 miles from Valerie's home. One of them noticed a red-orange suitcase several meters from the main road. This suitcase looked suspicious. It was lying
Damn, don't tell me she got put in a box, yo.
in a forested area and did not resemble an old, worn-out item that had been discarded as unnecessary. Moreover, it was clearly not empty. One of the workers' curiosity got the better of reason. He approached the suitcase with the intention of opening it and looking inside. When the man unzipped it, he was immediately turned inside out by the terrible smell seeping out. The other workers immediately dialed the police station. When the investigative team arrived at the scene, they opened the suitcase and found the body of a young woman inside. She was dressed in a shirt and jeans. The shirt was unbuttoned. The victim's shoes were missing. The girl's knees and ankles were bound. Her wrists were also tied with tape, and the victim's mouth and chin were wrapped in several layers of duct tape. Multiple injuries to the face and head indicated that before placing the body in the suitcase, the victim had been severely beaten. The nose and cheekbones were broken, and the skull was fractured. One side of the face was a solid bruise. The body hidden in the suitcase had already begun to decompose. This meant that the girl found had been dead for at least several days.
Yo, a suitcase? I would understand more like well, okay, never mind. Okay, a suitcase, I understand. I was thinking of like a briefcase, like a work business briefcase, corporate America business briefcase. A suitcase, I was like, okay, my brain was in a different spot. But still, in a suitcase and you stuffed in there, that's crazy, man.
The body was sent to the
And obviously it wasn't like hidden for real. It was just left there. It wasn't.
forensic laboratory, and the next day it was established that the cause of death was strangulation. To confirm the identity of the deceased, Valerie's father and older brother were invited to the morgue. The male half of the family decided to shield Norma from the horrific sight they were about to see. The men had no doubts that it was Valerie lying before them, even though the girl was difficult to recognize due to her injuries. But this was not the full horror that the Reyes family had to endure. It was later discovered that one of the road workers had photographed the body of the beaten and strangled Valerie when investigators opened the suitcase. He began showing the photo to all his acquaintances, recounting the terrible find.
That's not it. Damn. Because now it's just going to be public nude. Like, if it gets out on the internet, other than him showing to people he knows.
He and his crew had discovered in the wooded area near the main road. This person clearly did not think that the picture would sooner or later reach those who knew the victim. The worst that could be expected happened. The image of Valerie Reyes nearly made it to the media because this worker called the editorial office of a news magazine and offered to publish the crime scene photo. The Department of Public Works, where this man worked upon learning of the situation, sent him on administrative leave while they investigated the incident.
This is how I used to dress 6 months ago.
Yeah. That's not it. It's the, oh my gosh, I don't know if anybody's ever seen a decomposing body, but it is like, it's pretty horrific. It's nothing to be like, oh, this is awesome. Like, it takes a special individual to, work around that kind of stuff.
To make a public apology for the thoughtless and insensitive behavior of their employee, although at that point it was the last thing Valerie's family needed. After Valerie was declared missing, the police tracked her banking activity. It was discovered that the first cash withdrawal occurred on January 29th around 5 a.m., just a few hours after Valerie's conversation with her mother. Detectives managed to find footage from a surveillance camera at one of the ATMs showing a man dressed in black pants and a black hooded sweatshirt, completely covering his face, withdrawing the money. The ATM surveillance camera also captured his vehicle. Using the license plate number, they were able to track down the owner of the car. It turned out that the Honda vehicle had been rented for only 2 days, January 28th and 29, and it was rented by none other than Valerie's ex-boyfriend, Javier, whom she had dated for only 3 months and had broken up with last year. Over the next few days, after the girl's disappearance, he made several more cash withdrawals.
Bro. I'm curious as to like what goes on in a person's mind to where they're like, it's not over till I say it's over. You're not gonna leave me. Like those types of people.
Withdrawals from Valerie's bank card. So who exactly is Javier?
Well, we're a little more than about halfway in. Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, you didn't necessarily miss much of anything. This is more of a relationship that went sideways after the breakup. Don't really hear too much about the boyfriend in this story, besides being an ex-boyfriend and being what seems like super controlling, highly possessive, because he couldn't deal with being broken up with by this particular girl. He murders her, puts her ass in a suitcase, by strangulation. And yeah, that's where we're at. Is right now. It's like now it's going public, and yeah.
Javier Enrico de Chilo Rojas was
him.
born on January 3rd, 1995. He was originally from Venezuela and held dual citizenship with Portugal. In 2017, he moved to the United States using...
Listen, sometimes I ask I used to ask like, oh, this was like when I was a kid, like, this dude is fat or doesn't look attractive to me. Why is this beautiful girl with this what seems to be unattractive person, right? Well, first off, I'm a guy. I'm not dating him, right? Secondly, when it does come down to it, it's obviously more than looks and whatnot. But this dude right here, there's some particular like assets and physical features that it's just like, how, like, how is this the guy that you like? Do you not watch enough scary movies to know that it's this dude looks a little disconnected? You know what I'm saying? To me, he does, from like just social environments and such like that. I could usually get that vibe or that look from somebody. I'm just like, they whatever, but I don't know. Y'all girls be picking them, so I don't know.
A special document that allowed residents from a very small list of countries to stay in the U.S. for 90 days without an official visa. At that time, Venezuela was in a state of economic and financial crisis. The crisis led to hyperinflation and a shortage of vital goods in the country.
Yeah, that's also another thing is like good-looking dudes with like not so attractive women. You're like, the friendship must be bussing, like communication on crazy, connection like this. Cause I don't see how you can get with that. Like I don't want to come at it like disrespectful, but look.
Such as food,
To each their own. You feel me?
and medicine, and also contributed to rising unemployment. Nearly 8 million Venezuelan refugees flocked to neighboring countries where the government granted them temporary residence. Javier
And if you guys like the stream, make sure you guys like and share the stream. Appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart.
was one of the refugees who decided to radically change his life. When the 90 days of visa-free residence in the U.S. expired, he did not want to return to his homeland, so he remained in the country illegally. Javier lived in Flushing, New York.
I feel like, okay, so now we're getting the backstory of him, which we should have kind of got that in the beginning. Then it would have made more sense, because now we're playing catch up. I feel like this makes more sense, because more than likely it's probably talking about, all right, so guys in comparison to women, guys look at a future when they look at a woman that they want to be with. Women are more in the present time as far as how they make them feel. I feel like because of the social dissidence culturally and his circumstances, he was probably rushing the process as far as like, oh, let's get married or something of that nature, I feel like. So then he could have U.S. citizenship. And because she was like, I'm not feeling that, and she broke it off, and he could probably have some other character development issues. That is what I kind of come to a conclusion as to maybe that's how it transpired in some way, shape, or form. But that gives us a little bit more insight than the freaking almost 17 minutes of this whole documentary without explaining a drop of nothing.
And frequently changed his fields of activity. First, he worked for a cleaning company, then as a barista, and then as a cook and waiter in a fast food restaurant. All the time spent in the U.S., Javier kept a low profile and tried not to draw attention to himself. Friends considered him a kind, thoughtful guy who was always ready to help. In January 2018, Javier unexpectedly fell in love with a girl from a dating site. It was Valerie Reyes. He did everything to make her notice him. When it happened, Javier was ready to shout about his feelings to the whole world, wrote a lot about Valerie on social media, and from the first meeting, he was prepared never to part with his beloved again. But it turned out that Valerie was not ready for a serious relationship.
See, I mean, it's funny because that's like America compared to the rest of the world. As far as I know, a lot of relationships that happen outside is like, I like you, you like me, family, let's get married. Here in the States, it's like, let me see something real quick. I'm good. Let me still dabble around, or I'm still feeling free as a bird, or want to do my own thing. And people outside of America's culture can't understand that. That's why I was saying I feel as if there was a social dissidence, social disconnection, cultural disconnection as far as like what it is, and the comprehension wasn't there. So for whatever reason, he's just like, well, gotta kill her, bro. What?
When Javier suggested
His problem solving skills are terrible.
that the girl move in together to live as one family, he only pushed her away from him. Valerie understood that her boyfriend wanted much more from this relationship, but she herself was in no hurry to tie her life to a man. She had huge plans for the future, and marriage did not yet fit into them.
See, that's literally American culture as a whole, guy or girl. And this dude's from Venezuela. They ain't doing that over there. They're like, you looked at me, gotta get married. It's very smart to take things slow. Other countries rush relationships. I feel like the word slow, when it's, I feel like it could be fit somewhere. But it's like, just like there's lanes on the highway, right? There's a slow lane, the middle lane, and then the fast lane, right? When it's called to go into your destination, everybody's going technically in the same direction. The flow of traffic, whatever, right? Some people do like to jump over to the fast lane and they going slow in the fast lane. And that's not it. But I feel like if there's two people that are on one accord and they know what they want in the direction that they want to go to, it would make sense that, slow or being fast. I don't feel like speed is necessarily the issue. It's the understanding of each other as far as, and to understand each other, you have to understand yourself. Is to also know where you want to go. And I feel like neither knew what they wanted to do, but Javier was like, I'm gonna choose for you. But yeah, in America, people like to weigh their options. I'll say that. We don't necessarily take it slow. We like to weigh our options because we feel like we got so much time. You know what I'm saying? And I understand from a different cultural perspective compared to America's and outside, is because it's more survival on their end, lineage, all that kind of stuff. Family is taken differently from the Americas. America is like, you're independent, do what you want. 18, you're outside of your parents' crib, blah, blah, blah. So that's where I feel like. So I'll put it this way: I've been engaged twice before to guys I thought I knew everything about. Both engagements were voided because new colors were shown. I feel I dodged a bullet. Hey, that's good on your end. Put yourself in a better situation. You know yourself the best. You obviously know the situation the best, so it comes down to making the right decisions at the end of the day. So you did what you had to do. That's a survival instinct that you had. Is like, hey, I gotta cut it off. This ain't it, and that's good on you. Cause look, I don't know the situation, so you had to do what was best.
Valerie quickly grew tired of Javier's constant presence and decided to end the relationship. However, the guy was not going to give up his beloved so easily.
Bro, he looks like a foreigner too. He looks like once he likes you, he's in love. He the first one to be on bending knee. This is the type of dude I feel like he is. He's the one that makes all American women just run. Everybody running.
And continued to call several times a day and send dozens of text messages.
Oh man.
Valerie even had to block his access in all messengers and social networks.
See, when it gets to this point, this is what I'm talking about. When it's like there's these, it's a trickle down effect when it comes to somebody that's too attached, crazed, controlling. I mean, you had to block his number. This is when you're supposed to take things to the next level. You don't want to price match with this type of situation. You want to take it above and beyond because of the possibilities. And there's too many stories where it's these possibilities, because guess what? What feels like it's down here is way up here to him, and it's right here with you. Guys compared to women look at things different, right? Like I said before, guys look in the future. Women look and feel within the present time, how you make them feel, right? He's already thinking way ahead. She's thinking surface level. So, not to price match, but because she obviously had to block this man, she should have already went to the authorities and been like, look, this dude is freaking me out, blah, blah, blah. And it could be like, oh, I don't feel like something bad is going to happen. That's when you should, that's when you should do that. Like, this stuff should not be taken lightly, especially for women. Like, happens all the time. I promise you it does.
Norma, Valerie's mother, knew about her daughter's relationship with Javier. The woman got the impression that the guy liked to control everything, and if desired, could easily stoop to manipulation. And that's what happened. Once he used the death of his mother from cancer to make Valerie feel sorry for him and agree to a meeting. The mother's illness was never confirmed. It is possible that he was ready to do anything to get the girl back. Even with such dubious manipulations, Javier did not take no for an answer. Their actual relationship...
I mean, oh my gosh. That's mad toxic to be like, oh, he brought his mother's death in it so then she could... I'm going to just tell you, I heard something recent. Not as similar to this, but within a terrible situation happening and then questioning if you should stay or go just because they went through a situation that didn't involve you, but because you're involved with the person, that makes you feel as if you have to cater to them. No, you don't. You don't.
Relationship lasted less time than the period he pursued Valerie, using a variety of methods.
Hey, what up, Gray? So yeah, women, myself included, don't take... Hey, what up, Sable? What's up, everybody? This is a party. Yeah. Said, yeah, women, myself included, don't take certain situations serious enough. That's... You have to take it seriously. Just think, can you literally defend yourself one-on-one from a guy? Majority of the time, it's going to be a no. Call the cops. Call the cops. Make it simple. Make it easy for yourself. Yeah, women, myself included. Yeah, okay. Honestly, a woman, you're kind of taught to make excuses for bad behavior. That is a fact. And hesitate to hold people accountable. Otherwise, you'll see you're seen as difficult women. Calling the police is the last resort. Wait, did I actually make a? You did make a live. Yes, you did. Of course you did. Yeah. These types of things need to be taken extremely serious. Like the moment you have, that's the indication, is the moment you feel as if I shouldn't take it that serious, that's exactly when you should take it that serious. And your feelings are valid because they're notifications as far as the circumstances that are at hand. Right? So if something's happening, you're feeling these feelings. These feelings aren't for nothing. These feelings are telling you, hey, it's time to make a decision. But if you're indecisive, look at the situation itself as far as, if this was to go off the walls, am I able to handle it on my own? Majority of the time, it's no. No. And especially if you're a woman. So within that, you need to seek authoritative help. Not mommy and daddy and friends. That's how it goes sideways. Go to authoritative help, the law. Put something in writing, like document it, something. And I know a piece of paper is not going to stop somebody from murdering you, but if anything, put it on the radar, so therefore it's tracked, it's recorded, something. But yes, obviously tell friends and family, etc. Also relaying like, hey, and not, oh my gosh, I hate the beat behind the bush, like, I think we should not talk anymore. We not be friends, and I mean, we could possibly be acquaintances, but I don't really like you like that. Like, don't do that. Cut it off completely. Like, sever it. Umbilical cord, gone. Snip it up. I didn't even speak to the police when I was stalked for 2 years. 2 years. 2 years. You know you could get an associate's degree with that, right? Because the people around me kept telling me to give the guy a chance. You just ignore that's no. Authority before your friends, because your friends, a lot of time your friends won't know. When are you going to do a Korean food reaction and travel reaction? That's right. See, you're supposed to remind me. Look, I'm gonna do let me see. I can't give you a definite date, but let's just say August. We're gonna do that in August. I gotta mark that on my calendar, but you also gotta remind me again, because I just but yes, we're still gonna do food reactions live. That ain't guy harshly is scary. Yeah, no, I understand. And letting a guy know harshly is, you don't have to be harsh, but direct and firm. Guys communicate directly. So if you ever see guys communicate, talk, banter, whatever, it's very straightforward. It's not like, oh, I think you kind of feel maybe possibly like this. No, they're like, no, you're a low-key piece of shit. Like, that's how guys talk to each other. Oh my gosh, same. I had a horrible experience. Fiance and my friends kept telling me the same thing I told her. Couldn't possibly be my friend. Look forward to August. And yeah, we definitely got to look forward to August. Of course we do. Yes. Big ups. Uppies.
It's for meetings. The guy made the last attempt in September 2018 when he once again tried to contact Valerie about using her debit card data. The girl directly told him that she did not want to have anything to do with him and sent her friend to meet him. After this incident, Javier did not appear in Valerie's life, but was it the calm before the storm? Or did he really realize the futility of his attempts to get closer? This was now to be found out by the detectives handling Valerie's case. On February 11th, 2019, Javier was arrested at his rented apartment in Flushing, New York. During the interrogation, he gave several reasons why he used Valerie's debit card and withdrew money. At first, he claimed that he found her wallet on a street in Manhattan. Inside were cards and a piece of paper with the PIN code for the debit card. Javier insisted that he had not seen Valerie for about a year and was not even in the area where she lived. When the police...
How does that make sense? He in a different area and then all of a sudden he stumbles on her wallet? This alibi ain't alibying, you feel me?
provided the guy with evidence that he had rented a car, and its location was easy to determine, Javier immediately changed his story. Now he claimed that he was near his ex-girlfriend's house, but did not see her. Admittedly, he was forced to confess by the photographs of Valerie's body in the suitcase shown by the investigator.
You said, I thought it was insane when it was happening because it's like everyone didn't give a damn about my safety. Clearly, I don't know why that is. Like, people, actually, I have an epiphany. I feel as if people, when asked about a situation, this is not everybody, but when people asked about a situation, they put themselves in the situation rather than looking at it from a different perspective. And usually they like to look at things in the best light when I feel like it should be in reverse. Is like, and not in hopes of something bad to happen, but I always think of everything worst case scenario, so then I could be prepared if it goes sideways, you know? So then if something like this is even plans, like going grocery shopping or whatever the case, something falls through, it's just like, all right, whatever. I know remedial action from here on out, that if this happened, I know what to do next. Like, I'm not just scrambled in the brain. But sometimes the best advice is not to take the advice of the people that are closest to you, because sometimes they're too stupid or don't have experience in that type of situation. Would have never worked up like you think. She would have blocked the card after and losing it. Don't know.
Apparently, he still had some warm feelings for Valerie, but his story was still far from the truth. Javier said that, in fact, on the evening of January 28th, he was communicating with Valerie. The young man went to her apartment and committed the last act of passion. Although they had not seen each other for several months before that, the meeting was very stormy. They were having such a good time together that they didn't notice how they fell off the bed. Valerie fell to the floor and hit her head so hard that she stopped reacting to anything at all. At first, Javier tried to bring the girl to her senses, but she did not regain consciousness in any way, and he panicked. Then he taped her mouth shut so that Valerie would not start screaming at the most inopportune moment. He tied her hands and feet and stuffed her into a suitcase.
This ain't really adding up, because unless if it was because I feel like they're kind of brushing over some things, like when they're checking the forensics as far as the body, it says broken nose and cracked skull and killed by strangulation. We just hear tussle, fall off the bed, hit her head hard or something, was unresponsive, and taped her mouth and stuffed her in a suitcase. We working on like a 500-piece puzzle and we're missing 365 of them. You know what I'm saying?
After that, he got rid of it by throwing it into a wooded area. The police took Javier's DNA and were able to match it with a DNA sample found on the suitcase handle, as well as with a substance found under the girl's fingernails. However, the ex-boyfriend's story did not match the evidence that detectives had discovered by this time. Firstly, all of Valerie's acquaintances and friends unanimously assured that Valerie did not want to have anything to do with Javier. so she would never have voluntarily made love to him. Secondly, the forensic examination showed that the girl died of suffocation inside voluntarily made love to him. Second time. Firstly, all of Valerie's acquaintances and friends unanimously assured that Valerie did not want to have anything to do with Javier, so she would never have voluntarily made love to him. Secondly, the forensic examination showed that the girl died of suffocation inside the suitcase due to several layers of...
See, that means, because they were dating for 3 months, so that means, because hear me out, because even if this dude was lame or whatever, but his wee game was on point, she would have still, you know what I'm saying? But this dude wee game lame too. So this dude's a triple threat lame. His wee game wasn't even solid for her to be like, all right, even though you're toxic, like, wasn't enough to stay. Because, hey, look, and although it sounds like a joke, a lot of relationships stay together because the wee game is on point, but everything else is whack.
Tape wrapped around her face. If Javier's story had been true and the guy was really scared, then it is unclear why it was necessary to tie up the dead body, as he claimed, and then cold-bloodedly take the bank cards and withdraw all the accumulated funds. The young man explained his behavior by saying that he deliberately made himself visible on the ATM camera recordings so that the police would catch him sooner. After what happened, he could not forgive himself and was waiting for retribution. Here, a legitimate question arose as to why not just go to the police and confess. Given Valerie's mental state and the last conversation...
Yeah, I wouldn't call this love. And as I've said in previous other lives, like, love is a commitment. You know what I mean? Love has a very clear and concise intent to serve one another. It's different. It's not a feeling. It's nothing as such as that. Clearly, there's not even a likeness in this situation. But when people are like, love hurt, or love is what I like, love just chilling and y'all just accusing. But yeah, this is just I hate, because I would have a lot of friend girls back in the day, and when I hear them going in and out of relationships with different people or even the same person, I'm like, yo, what the hell going on, yo? Like, just, how about you take a break? You know what I mean? Like, picking a bunch doesn't make you a good picker. It just means you're just picking a lot and you don't even know what you want. And you don't even know who these people are to even pick them. So, like,
with her mother, it is unlikely that the girl would have wanted to make love with Javier when he suddenly appeared in her apartment that night.
Yeah, it's very, very much so a give and take. Because the better I can love my partner means the better I can love myself. Because anything that comes outwardly, through the heart, through the mouth, is what you would tell yourself. It's a reflection of yourself. So if you can't, love yourself enough in a way that is reflective to other people, that you can love other people and serve your partner, vice versa, that's the way you're supposed to flow. But a lot of people are selfish and want for them and think that they're doing more for the other. That sometimes hey, more people need to be put in a straitjacket in a squishy room, because they're either the narcissist or psychopath that doesn't understand that they are the narcissist and psychopath. And that's the craziest part, is because when you're not able to be so self-conscious to know that you have an issue and not address it to legitimately better yourself for the other person or other people or people around you or people you love, it's always going to be a perpetual motion of these types of stories. It's not really for love. It's more so people being terrified of loneliness. That is also another thing. Abandonment is another thing. Purposelessness. It's a whole rabbit hole of things for sure. And about communication. Communication is definitely heavy. You've been with your husband for 17 years and married for 10. Hey, that's you get big uppies. That's tough. That's really tough. Cause I'm about to get married this Saturday, so I'm excited for that. I've always wanted to be married. My parents been married for 30 years. I think they're coming up to 31 in August or September. 31 years. So I've seen it. I've been around it. I've had good influences around me, but I've always wanted to be married. It's a toughie for sure, but I think it's very very well worth it. A lack of self awareness scares me. Yeah. Like when it's like, oh, you attract particular people. Um, See, that's what I have to also say, because when people are like, oh man, I always find losers and whatever, I'm just like, well, what do you genuinely think about yourself? Do you feel like you deserve love, or do you just want love, or do you feel like you're deserving to be treated a certain way, or do you put yourself as like a queen status, or do you feel like a peasant for real? Like, you're going to exude the energy that you put out is exactly what you're gonna attract. You know what I mean? So when people are like, "Oh man, I'm always around losers," I'm like, "You might be a loser too, low key." Like, I'm not trying to be harsh, but the facts are the facts. And until you want to change your mindset, your heart, your spirit, your energy, like how you talk to yourself, everything, like, you know what I'm saying? It was hard, but the end result is worth it. Uh, it's worth all of it. And I have 2 kids. Oh, awesome! That's awesome. Blessings to you and the fam. That's amazing. 30 years. That's genuinely beautiful. I know, right? Like, I'm trying to be on that status. 30 years, yeah, yeah. 30 years is tough. Marriage is also work, a lot of work. You have to put in effort into the relationship. Ongoing. People don't like to say that, but it's true. Yes, you have to still date your significant other. You have to speak life into each other. The situations aren't you. That's a big one. Is to know to notice the frame in space that you're in, the chapter that you're in, is like you're in a chat. So if this part of the chapter is like, all right, Betty and Ben are in chapter of where there's going to be turmoil. That turmoil doesn't define you and your relationship. It's just the season that you're in and how you're going to overcome this situation. So the situation should never be above you guys. You guys should always be above the situation. So it's not like you're not doing this, you're not doing that. It's just like, all right, this is what's going on, and this is what I'm feeling. This is where I have problems. Vice versa. Got to be transparent and being like, okay, we might have to dial it back, or might have to turn it up a notch on these particular areas, so then we could get through this season. But it's always to grow yourself. So that's why I always say you got to pay attention to what you pray for. You got to pay attention to what you ask for, because it's always going to be a development, a building type of situation. So if you like, oh, I want to be a multimillionaire, well, guess what? Now you're going to get put in situations that's going to develop your character, develop your durability, develop your resilience, your confidence, your boldness, speaking, everything to become the person. So when you get there, you don't lose it. It's when you get there, you could sustain it, maintain it, and then elevate. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of variables that come into something when you ask for something, when you pray for something, and then you put forth that effort. guess what? It's going to take every piece of you to be able to do it. And sometimes to go up, you got to go all the way back down to come back up even stronger. Because it's the roots you got to deal with, The roots.
If you've been getting scam texts like
This guy. But all of it's well worth it, because at the end of the day, it's the journey, not the destination. Because if you're not having, so it's like, oh, you want to go on a vacation, but you're doing a road trip. But if from point A to B isn't fun in the middle, like getting there, the whole trip is going to be a bust. Because now you're just anticipating to get there, but not enjoying while you're getting there. So then by the time you get there, it's not going to be as enjoyable or as expected like you wanted it to be. And now you're like kind of stuck, because then you know that you're anticipating and dreading the journey back, because it wasn't fun even getting there anyways in the first place. So enjoy the time always. Like, your joy should never be gone from a good or bad situation. Joy should always be there. Each partnership shouldn't be like they have to make me happy. You're supposed to be happy within yourself, and vice versa. But there should always be joy in the midst of everything. Like that's freedom from like just anxiety, depression. Like that's freedom from all the extra stuff. Being at peace, man. Come on now. I'll do a whole master class on it. I've had a few guy friends who are married that say they would forgo love for control. A lot of them refer to girls that broke their heart when they were 16, that made them feel like love was shallow, or love is shallow. Well, that means I get it, but as a kid, you think that those types of things are everything, and it's not. I feel like there's not enough mentorship. There's not enough family involvement when it comes to relationships and how to develop and how to regulate emotions and why things happen the way they happen and all of these things. There's no learning lessons in the early ages of our childhood to grow ourselves as an adult, because the same things that had affected us, traumatized us young, that weren't dealt with and weren't metabolized, it now festers into something that becomes like a fungus when you become an adult that you haven't let go. You definitely have to grow. I'm not the person I was in my 20s. Now I'm 37, and me and my husband relationship is stronger than it was in the beginning. That's a fact. It's not like the person that you married that day isn't going to be the same person 15, 20 years from now, because both of you guys are growing. And that's when everything starts. Everything doesn't start when you guys were like dating, boyfriend and girlfriend. It starts in the marriage. So it's preparation before then, and then when you in it, that's when you in the dirt for real. Okay, make the class. I'll attend. Appreciate. I wish there was a way to offer therapy to people who think therapy is only for crazy people. Yeah, there is a stigma about therapy as far as it being for crazy people or whatever. I still go through therapy. I've been going to therapy since 2000. Well, technically since 2018, but when I got out the military, I was still doing therapy. So from summer of 2019 to the present time, like that's about 5 years of still like outpatient therapy and stuff like that. And there's there's different ways as far as therapy or something being therapeutic, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to see a therapist to have therapy or to be cognizant of like what it is that you're dealing with. So even as simple as being extremely aware of your flaws, or extremely aware of like your vulnerability, and like writing it down. Writing is literally like half of therapy. Kid you not. It's like writing things out, writing things down, getting things off your chest. I would advise that you at least write once or twice a day, once in the morning, to like just spill out your guts. Like, what do you have to do today? Like, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you doing? How are you gonna go about it? Whatever. Just like spill your guts out on a blank sheet of paper and just write anything that comes to mind. And then like right before bed, do the same thing, or well, not the same thing, but write what you want. You know what I mean? Like write what you want to happen for tomorrow. Like write out your day, like, and don't make it like so convoluted. Make it like 3 to 5 things. It's just like, these are the non-negotiables. This is what's going to get done, regardless if the world felt in a blazing fire. Like, these things have to get done. Like 1, 2, or 3, whatever. And then anything in between throughout the day, it's like secondhand. Like, if it gets done, it gets done. If not, it will get done the next day. Like writing things out, and then like writing like who you want to be, but also who you are in the moment, makes you become that person now. Like, if I were to say, how would you feel if you had $1 million in your bank account right now? That's the type of feeling you need to involve yourself in when you write down stuff, as far as the things that you want, because you believe it right now. So then it'll always give you a constant state of like peace, awareness, and like control of your situation, to where you feel dominant in anything that you're doing. It's just like, I believe enough in myself to do the best and be the best regardless. Like like if you're feeling 60% and that's all you could give, that's your 100% for that day. That's the cheat code. Is like, it's not trying to be at 100%. It's whatever you're at is your 100%, and being okay with that. And not just being okay with that, it's just, this is enough that I need to get through the day regardless. It was especially taboo in the black community. If you seemed off or depressed, you were told to go to church. Yeah, that's a fact. Preach to the church. You know, I grew up taking the problems to God mindset, and even when I was hospitalized, the first therapist I saw told me I just needed to pray and take meds. Being and feeling assured in yourself does wonders for the perception of things. Yeah, so I mean, just to go back, just even the people that are like, oh, just pray and take meds, or just go to church, or just ask God about it, should be, it's not a wrong answer, but people don't know how to say the right answer better, you know, or they don't necessarily know themselves. That's why they just say that and kind of go about their business. But to give you a better perspective as far as like what should take place is like, what do you mean, like, go to God? Because that's, I always ask questions, and when you ask better questions, you'll get the answer. Seek and you shall find, right? So if you're like, okay, go to God, what do you mean go to God? And then what does it mean to give your problems to him? So you have to visualize. The imagination, like we're creative beings, just the same way as God has made us as creative, right? So whenever I'm dealing with a situation and I feel like it's going out of control and I feel like I'm not, in the right space to handle it, I envision myself like holding my issues in my hands and literally just opening my hands up and giving it over to God. And immediately, I kid you not, immediately I'd feel at peace, because my problems aren't not my problems. They are to deal with my Father. And my Father wants me to give up my problems so then I can, because these problems are not mine. God doesn't want me to deal with them. He doesn't want me to will myself through them. He wants me to give them up, surrender them, so then he can take them and then have me be at peace. That's the whole thing, because people keep forgetting that God is our Father and we are children, like literal children, like babies to him. So our little itty bitty problems are nothing to him. He just wants us to go to him. That's why we go through some trials and tribulations. Even if you're doing the right thing, you're like, why are all these things happening to me and I'm doing the right thing? The thing isn't to do the right thing. It's to give up what you so dearly keep to your heart, which could be the problems, and then you surrender the problems by opening your hands up and literally giving them to him. Like, I've found so much peace in that. Making lists, yes. As a teen, I would draw to help show my dreams, relax, and read. That's what I put my energy into to do. So self-reflection. I was very shy and quiet in my youth. Not now though. Okay. Heart of a lion. Heart of a lion. That's good. That's good. Self-reflection is great, but I tell you what, writing could deal with a lot of issues. Some need extra, but for the most part, you could get a lot done with just writing out what you're dealing with. Lists are fabulous way to visualize things and make goals seem real. Yeah, it that's scriptural. It says it. It says write out your dreams and your plans and make it plain, make it simple, make it plain, so that, like, not to necessarily yourself, because you know the plan, but if you have a business and you've talked to business people before, they're very straightforward, clear, concise, and direct when it comes to like business plans and like, all right, so what do? I'm a boxing coach. Okay, where's your facility? Oh, it's here. You have a website? Yeah, here it is. Here's my card. Like, it's very straightforward. It's like, what's this? What's that? What are you doing? What's next? How are you growing? You know what I mean? It's clear, concise, where you could just say it in a conversation, or if I had it written down, like anybody could read it and be like, oh, this is simple. Like, this is where they get their clientele. This is how they make their money. This is da-da-da-da. Simple, right?
Have multiple injuries on her face that could not be obtained from a fall. All these facts completely refuted Javier's version, but the detectives could not determine the motive that forced him to deliberately take the life of the girl whose affection he had sought for so long. In the end, the investigators came up with a possible motive for Javier's actions. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like this video. It's really important. On January 24th, 2019, about a week before Valerie disappeared, the guy sent a text message to his new girlfriend. He complained to her that he caught his ex in his own bed with a neighbor, but this was not true, as Valerie would never have gone to Javier's house on her own. Most likely, the guy found out that Valerie had a new boyfriend. He stalked Valerie, considering her his own property, and the appearance of a rival on the horizon infuriated the young man.
A rival is crazy. Usually a rival would consist of somebody else knowing that they don't like you back. But when you're secretly not liking somebody else, that is not considered a rival. That's just envy, jealousy in your own brain. Like,
as the evidence shows, here's what happened that night. On the evening of January 28th, 2019, Javier rented a Honda car in Flushing, New York, where he lived, and headed to his ex's apartment in New Rochelle. He arrived there early in the morning, parked the car near Valerie's house, and put his phone in airplane mode. The police pinged his phone, and cell towers showed that Javier was within 300 feet of Valerie's home that morning, and then the phone signal disappeared. It is unknown whether Valerie let him into the apartment or if he forced his way inside. But soon after, an argument broke out between them. Javier's DNA was found in swabs taken from Valerie's chest and genitals.
Oh yeah, you're nasty. He a little nasty, bro. So the same way they were able to track like signals and stuff, why is it when people go missing for real, they not able to track them? You know what I mean? Like that's a what I'm about to get into is another conversation, another stream for another day. But if there's so many satellites, right, where we could see the bump on an ant's behind, how is it that we have I'm talking about almost 3 million people missing globally? Like no trace. 3 million people missing globally a year with no trace. But we got millions of satellites in the air. It's not adding up.
This DNA, along with the sample extracted from under the victim's fingernails, indicated intimate contact. Sexual intercourse did indeed take place between them, but apparently it was not completed by mutual consent, as Javier claimed. Most likely Valerie resisted as much as she could, and as a result of the struggle, scratched the attacker. The violent argument and resistance led to the girl sustaining a head injury, numerous bruises on her face, and a broken nose. When she lost consciousness from the pain, Javier wrapped her mouth and chin with...
He kind of looked like, what's that dude's name? George DeFranco or something like that? Philip DeFranco, right? Am I right? Philip DeFranco. Not him. Is it George DeFranco? Oh my gosh, who's the dude from Pineapple Express? Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express is a 2008 movie directed...
This dude. He looked like this dude. Phil. I don't remember his name. I think it's DeFranco something. But yeah, he looks like this dude, yo. He look like this dude. Am I tripping? They usually don't have their phones. This one they do. He has the iPad, the phone, all the electronic devices from her. Like he took them with her.
Several layers of tape, tied her legs and hands, and then stuffed her into a red-orange suitcase. They had bought this suitcase for a joint trip when they first started dating. Valerie was still alive when the rejected boyfriend decided to get rid of her. She suffocated from the multiple layers of tape around her mouth and chin. Her nose was broken as a result of the attack, so she simply had nothing to breathe with. After the suitcase was moved to the trunk of the rented car, Javier returned to the girl's apartment and cleaned up as best he could. That's why the police found so little evidence there. Driving away from the house, he unlocked Valerie's phone with her fingerprint and checked all the records.
I'm half tripping. Crazy.
He was interested in who she had been communicating with after breaking up with him, but even more, he needed her bank card information. Valerie, deprived of the remaining oxygen, could no longer resist. Upon reaching Greenwich, Connecticut, Javier threw the suitcase in a secluded section of the highway, hidden from prying eyes by trees. He did this without even knowing whether Valerie was alive or dead.
Damn.
On the way back home, he used the girl's phone to access her banking information and then disposed of it by throwing it off a bridge into a river. Then Javier stopped at several different ATMs to withdraw money. In addition to Valerie's mobile phone from her apartment, he took her iPad and one of the pillows. Later, the young man exchanged the tablet for a new monitor for his computer. So, judging by Javier's actions, after committing the crime, he was not tormented by remorse.
Wow.
Are you driving way less
Like,
than you used to? Do you have a clean...
Some people, man, I feel like some people really ain't got no souls, because your consciousness has to be eating at you as a normal human being, that you just took somebody's life, and it wasn't like out of self-defense. It was out of selfishness. And oh my gosh, I know. Yeah, ATMs have cameras, and that's when you came in, was after they were talking about the ATM being used and everything. Look, I wasn't the only person to think that Stray Kids, with the jacket situation, there was countless people in the comments that are like, I didn't even know what jackets meant and whatever. Like, look, I ain't the only one. You were the only one to know. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, you can look at the comments yourself.
2019, Javier Enrico Dosilo Rojas was charged with kidnapping resulting in death. For this crime, he faced the death penalty or life imprisonment. It took some time to bring the case to trial. Javier's defense tried to portray him as a victim, hoping that the judge would remove the death penalty from the agenda. The lawyers argued that this was the guy's first crime, committed out of jealousy. Prior to this, he had a reputation as a decent person, with no previous criminal record. His refugee
Like, let me see your referrals. Give me your referrals.
status also played into the hands of the defense team. He had to leave a country that was falling apart, abandon college, and flee Venezuela. Javier...
Man, sometimes I hate just... because being a lawyer, that means you're subject to also probably, like, help a murderer, like... The court of law should be to seek justice, not to have somebody avoid punishment. You know what I mean? You were hollering about that. That's like nobody knew about that. Nobody knew about it.
arrived in the U.S. with only $600 in his pocket. He experienced depression due to separation from loved ones and got involved with illegal substances. He was a broken man who sincerely regretted his actions and understood
They really trying to make this man a victim.
the horrifying nature of his behavior. Fortunately for him, the lawyers reached a plea agreement, and on February 5th, 2020, Javier Enrique Dosilo Rojas pleaded guilty to kidnapping Valerie Reyes and actions that led to the girl's death. In court, he fully repented and said that he would never forgive himself for what he had done, and he did not even dare to beg the Reyes family for forgiveness, knowing that he did not deserve it. When Norma, Valerie's mother, took the floor and expressed in words the pain she felt at losing her daughter in her prime, Javier could not hold back his tears. He quietly sobbed in the defendant's dock. On September 23, 2021, 26-year-old Javier Enrique Dosilo Rojas was sentenced to 30 years in prison for kidnapping resulting in death. Due to the fact that he was in the United States illegally, he will be deported back to Venezuela as soon as his sentence expires.
Sheesh. So he's 20-something. He's 20-something. Gonna get out when he's about to turn 60. Going back to Venezuela, not knowing what state of the world you'll be in at that point. I don't know. See, I feel like that's good. That's good. 30 years. I feel like that's pretty. I feel like that's pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? And compare it. Let's compare it to Burning Sun. Let's compare it to countries outside of America that don't take these types of situations that serious, where they'll get only 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, right? 30 years. Because I think anything that involves murder, right? I've said this before. Premeditated murder without murdering, just planning to murder, is 20 years. Murdering somebody is, I would think that it's like 10 years, 10 to 15 years, which is crazy, right? Because you're doing the act. That's why I feel like it's 30 years, because the premeditated as well as murdering, 30 years, right? That's not a thing in other countries and other cultures where you get that much time. I haven't seen it where it matches like how America does it. So that's crazy. Yeah, being a lawyer and defending criminals is absolutely insane. Like, I could never be a lawyer in no life. Depression doesn't make you a killer. The poor mom, him crying and making himself a victim in front of her, must be heartbreaking.
Valerie Reyes brought joy and happiness to everyone around her. The tragic death of this girl caused a wave of outrage throughout the community in which she lived her short life. Jealousy, cruelty, greed for money, all the criminal's actions do not seem accidental, committed under the influence of emotions. They were calculated too precisely. Javier knew he was going to harm Valerie even before he entered her apartment. Stealing from a person he had just taken the life of shows that he had no remorse, and all his tears in the defendant's dock were nothing more than another manipulation. This is the end of the story.
Yeah. That was all manipulation. That was all controlling. All of it, man. Stupid, bro. That type of stuff is just dumb. That's why I said you can't take that stuff lightly. You cannot. Okay, even if you didn't report it to the police, ask authority what they think about that situation. And you don't have to you don't have to say like this is your situation. Like, I have a friend, and hypothetically speaking, if they were in this situation, blah 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 blah, what would you do? Get advice from an authoritative figure where they can, give you. Make it simple for yourself. Like, Burning Sun just makes my skin itch. Yeah. Hopefully it's done with the Burning Sun. The messed up thing is, she could have gotten rid of him by reporting him to immigration. Facts. Call ICE. What do they call him? I think it's ICE. Yeah, call ICE. They'll get him. Let's see. What is this? When the real crime is 100 times worse than fiction. This was a month ago that was posted. Okay. Looks like another love story.
Wow, I just built the most amazing
love story type situation. You don't know whether to cry or laugh. That's crazy.
In a quiet neighborhood in Green Bay, Wisconsin, the mother of 24-year-old Shad Therian heads down to her son's
24? Oh my goodness.
Basement bedroom. She just heard his girlfriend leave, and noticing that his light is still on, she heads down to check in on him. But she doesn't make it all the way into his room. Before she gets there, she notices a bucket at the foot of the basement stairs. She knows it doesn't belong there, and the towel placed precariously over it seems out of place as well. She lifts the towel to see what's inside, but it's not at all what she expects or wants to see. She screams up to her boyfriend, who comes down and witnesses the horror inside the bucket for himself, then calls 911.
I have no clue what's happening. My girl swears that she's found her severed head of her son in the basement.
Did you go down there?
Kind of a little freaked out.
Law enforcement is
Listen, what would you do? What would you do if, like, bro, like the only, what? Bro. I wouldn't even know how to fathom that. Cause the first person that I would be thinking is my partner. But like, how like, and then obviously probably it could be a whole slew of situations. They could be like, how would you think it would be me? Like it wasn't me? That's crazy. That's crazy. You watch? See, I was thinking about watching the BBC version on The Burning Sun, but I feel like I'm already past cooked on the story already. To be completely honest with you, like it's kind of drug out, and I want it to be done. You say I have no courage to watch the BBC doc and Korea reactions to it on my feed. What did they say? Hey, what up? How do you say your name? Is that Nefnon? Nefnon? I think I would have freaked out and then went after my girlfriend who just left. Like no logic to it. Only my brain would think that it was her. I mean, that would be the most logical decision for me. As a mom, the thought of finding something like this would break me. Yeah, but I would have to point fingers. Somebody did it and it wasn't me. Nefnon? Alright, cool.
Dispatched to the home. But not even they will be prepared for what they're about to discover.
And also, shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. Us being live. I like doing this a lot. It's more engaging. I think it's more fun. I feel more charismatic. I got more energy than just acting like somebody's here and not talking to somebody while I'm watching the video. I think it's more fun when I have people on the live and everybody's engaging and everybody's cool, considerate, respectful, but also, you know, about the subject and whatnot. I appreciate y'all. Much love.
At the house, or once they track down one of the most despised criminals in the state's history.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with this cop on the stairs posed up like that with his leg up.
About to discover. At the house, or once they track down one
big eyebrow.
One of the most despised criminals.
He's posing for March magazine.
Criminals in the state's history.
Did you catch him?
Welcome back to Crime A to Z, where we detail cases and criminals from their very beginning, until well after other reporting ends. Honestly, we don't have words strong enough to describe today's chilling case, so we're just going to dive right in so you can see for yourself how a person can devolve from someone so seemingly normal to the embodiment of pure and complete evil. And before we get started, if you end up liking how we present this case, we'd love it if you could quickly give us a like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate you. Let's go.
Antivirus does not protect your credit card.
So obviously it came to be the chick who committed this horrendous crime. I've never heard of this case, especially since I'm near Green Bay, Wisconsin. Really? I nearly chased a woman down for almost T-boning my car when I was pregnant. Huge mama bear. Yeah. That's a crazy incident. Charismatic. ... Blessings, blessings, blessings to everybody.
Taylor Denise Coronado was born on November 23, 1997, to parents Marla and Arturo Coronado. The family originally resided in Evanston, Illinois, but eventually moved to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Growing up in Green Bay, Taylor faced a lot of challenges in her childhood, including both losses and a less than ideal home environment. When she was 12 years old, her mother died from liver cirrhosis, a result of her alcoholism. With Taylor, her brother, and her father left to grieve, Taylor's behavior deteriorated at school, and by 7th grade, she began receiving therapy. At some point during high school, she was expelled for fighting and would ultimately move to Texas to live with her grandparents to finish out her senior year. It's not clear whether she successfully graduated or not. A few years after she'd been sent to live with her grandparents, Taylor's father, Arturo, was arrested back in Wisconsin. He would eventually be tried and convicted of second-degree sexual assault of a child, receiving a 12-year sentence.
See, okay, off the rip, off the rip. I will always say this, I'll continually say this, it always results in the parents. 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 It is the parents' fault. It is the parents' fault. It is the parents' fault. How they raise their children is how they will develop as a human being. Yes, of course, they can do what they want. They're blah, blah, blah. Cool. But the development stages is the most important part of a human's life. It's the early stages. That's just like if you planted a seed and you want a tree to grow, but you're not giving it proper nourishment and it's growing slow. You have to constantly switch the soil, but you're not nurturing it properly. You're just giving it enough. It's not going to develop strong as it would if you started out that way. Because once it gets past a matured stage, it could do the rest on its own. That's just normal logic. Mom passed away due to abuse of alcoholism. Dad is a freaking, oh my, shit show. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And she's already having issues fighting in school, having to switch schools and go to... Bro. It already started out bad. And it starts with the parents. When I say charismatic, I mean, you kind of always are. So, I'm not sure what I mean by charismatic is I'm more involved with who's here, you know? But of course, I'm engaging with the content that I would record, but I'm recording it. I know I'm not specifically talking to someone like as I'm talking to now. I'm talking to y'all. So, I feel like I have more energy when I'm talking to people rather than talking to people that would soon listen or watch the video at some point. I feel like it's different. Yeah, this is a wild situation.
But Taylor was moving on with her life. The same year her father was arrested, 2018, she met a man named Warren Chabot. The young couple hit it off, committed to the point of getting their names tattooed to each of their necks.
Red flag. I ain't never seen anybody with the same person that they got tatted on their body together. Like, I've never seen that. Never.
And in 2020, they got married and both had their last names legally changed to Shabusiness. The pair relocated several times within Texas.
What kind of last name is that? Shabusiness? Are you serious?
Names legally changed to Shabusiness.
See, that's why most of y'all be getting made fun of, because your parents had changed their last name to Shabusiness. I could only imagine what they would call their children. Usually it's mad generic, or it's something super funky. Like, bro, guaranteed it. Like, their children would either be a Kyle, a Zachary, Keegan, at least all the Tylers that I know are cool. You know what I'm saying? I've met nothing but cool Tylers. But what is it? Logan. All of those, you know what I mean? Like, you know that they go to detention. Like, any of those names, they go to detention all the time. What are you talking about? Can't help but laugh at that. I literally just, yeah, Shabusiness is freaking ridiculous. Glad I wasn't the only one. Yeah, I wouldn't like to be the only child. I'm the middle child of 3, so.
Located several times within Texas, then ultimately moved back to Green Bay, where Taylor was originally from. She tried to earn money by creating and selling crafts like dream catchers and jewelry, and also by making a plea for financial support on GoFundMe.
I said my name, people would call me all sorts of stuff. Oh, as far as your name, okay. Staple. Yeah, no, like my last name is Spry, and people tried to make fun of it, like saying Sprite, Spray, Spree. I'm just like, do y'all know how to spell, or like, is this? Hey, y'all got it? But it's like an actual word, so I don't. And it's actually fire. Like, my last name, look. Definition of spry. Full of energy, active, full of life, lively, energetic, like vigorous. Like, these are cool words that isn't freaking what they call themselves. Something about Shabusiness. Like, that's crazy.
Hi, I'm Taylor Shabusiness, and I'm a very hardworking, dedicated individual.
Did it say Shabusiness? I could have swore the dude said Shabusiness.
And also by making a plea for financial support on GoFundMe.
Hi, I'm Taylor Shabusiness, and I'm a very hardworking, dedicated individual that's broke and really needs money to help get that swole on. So if you could please donate.
What? This is a terrible way to market yourself, but like, the energy's not there. It's like, hey, I'm broke, give me money. That's what I'm hearing right now. It's like, hey, give me money. And what does she mean by swole on? Like, what do you mean, get your swole on?
Business, and I'm a very hardworking, dedicated individual that's broke and really needs money to help get that swole on. So
is this the what do you am I missing? Am I not hearing it right? Am I missing something? What do you mean, get your swole on? Like, one more time.
Hi.
If you research my name, it's a characteristic from Batman. That's lit. I would have never thought. Cause I know a kid from my school. His name was Casey Thorpe. He was cool. He's a cool dude. It could be worse. My last name is Cross. Oh my gosh, that reminds me of this kid that was in my neighborhood named David Cross. He was wild. Oh my goodness. My sister wanted my mom's name to be meet Angel. Thank goodness she didn't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you mean by get your swole on? I highly doubt that she's weightlifting.
I'm Taylor Shaw Business, and I'm a very hardworking, dedicated individual that's broke and really needs money to help get that swole on. So if you could please donate to this GoFundMe page, be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Both Taylor and Warren had their share of run-ins with the law.
So he looks like he's in jail. Like, he got the whole fit on. Like, they're doing the whole jail picture situation. Is this dude in jail? Or did I miss that he was in jail? What's up?
In 2020, Taylor was arrested for battery, threatening an officer, and resisting arrest.
Oh, she's in jail.
She pleaded no contest and was sentenced to 3 years of probation, along with 60 days in jail. But she had no interest in actually serving those 60 days and skipped bail. Then, when she was arrested again for skipping bail, resisting arrest again, and being in possession of drug paraphernalia and other charges, despite it all, Taylor was only given additional probation and not required to serve.
Either she's mixed or she's like white that is like adapting to the culture she's around, because it's very like a Mexican. Like that's how they be rocking with the cholas.
Of any time. Warren's run-in with the law was also drug-related. In 2021, he was arrested for conspiracy to distribute methamphetamines and sentenced to 2 years in prison. And, not being shy about his arrest, Warren Shabusiness, or Shabusiness, as he misspelled it on his profile.
That should be a red flag. Not even a red flag. Look, it's black flag with the skull on it. Like, both of these people are walking black flags. He couldn't even spell his last name right.
Took to Facebook to try to clear his name, claiming, "I'm locked up on federal charges because I was framed." He goes on to explain how he pled to a deal, and that people should plan on Warren Shabusiness to be out soon. In October of 2021, shortly before Warren was arrested, the couple welcomed a son that they named Mateo.
Said I googled your name, Sable, and came up with a gun shop, a resort, an animal, and Sable energy. How did you find Batman as a character? No, she's the killer. I mean, yeah, she's definitely the killer. With last name to Gray. Oh, okay. She's a criminal. Yeah. She's clearly. I mean, both of them are, but.
With her husband behind bars and life's events continuing to spiral downward, including the devastating blow of her brother being killed in a motorcycle accident in 2022, Taylor continued to abuse drugs, and she would ultimately cross paths with Shad Therian.
Oh, okay, so this is her new boo, I guess. Also appreciate it if you guys like the stream. Appreciate it.
A longtime friend who she had previously dated back in high school. Shad Therian was born on September 7th, 1997, to parents Tara Pakinich and Michael Therian. The couple also had 3 other children, 2 daughters, and 1 son. Growing up in Green Bay, Shad was a kind, caring, and artistic young man who loved wood carving and being outdoors, especially camping. He attended the same high school that Taylor attended in Green Bay, Bayport High School. Afterward, he worked with his father and grandfather in the family business while taking on projects like wood carving on the side. While all of his friends and family passionately vouched for the good-natured, kind, and gentle person that Shad was, he had encountered a minor run-in with the law as well. In October of 2021, he was arrested for disorderly conduct and resisting arrest. And then he somehow found himself down the wrong path and entangled with the married Taylor. Shad and Taylor entered into a sexual relationship, and as they began spending more and more time together, it's reported that Shad became enamored with her and was interested in a serious relationship. But with Taylor both being married and having a child, and also only being interested in a casual fling, she had no interest in their relationship being serious. The pair continued hanging out, and it was on one typical cold and snowy
See, kind of going back again to like men, women, how we feel is different. All these things, right? Yes, some men can just cut it off because they don't see you as that, right? But if you have somebody that is expressing feelings and you're having these casual relationship quarrels, right? But you do not want to partake in furthering this relationship, but they want to, and you say no, just know them receiving that information is not the same as you telling them and you thinking that you cut it off and then like, oh no, that's fine. It's not. It's never fine with a guy, especially that someone is actually involved with you and wants to be more than just the fling. They don't want. Guys are territorial. So like there's animals that are very territorial. Men are very territorial. And when we state something, we're direct. So you saying, no, I'm good, and him being like, oh, okay, no, it's they'll say that just to stick around until they can get the upper hand and to still enjoy the benefits of the quarrelsome relationship they got going on. So
Wisconsin winter day that the relationship took a turn for the worst.
Back in 2022, I lost two very important people in my life. Big figures. It really wasn't until February.
Taylor was hanging out with another male friend, and the two of them picked up Shad before heading to Taylor's apartment, where the three of them began using multiple types of drugs, working their way up from marijuana to the harder stuff, including methamphetamine.
Oh, she a freak. So Shad is a dude that she was with, but now she got another dude that she picked that dude up with, and now they all chilling. That's kind of weird.
Relationship took a turn for the worst. Taylor was hanging out with another male friend, and the two of them picked up Shad before heading to Taylor's apartment, where the three of them began using multiple types of drugs, working their way up from marijuana to the harder stuff, including methamphetamines. The friend eventually left, and Shad and Taylor headed to Shad's mother's home, where he had a bedroom in the basement. Shad's mother knew Taylor, and she could hear the couple down in the basement, so she knew they were home. As the evening rolled around, she and her partner left for an evening out at about 9:30 p.m. When she and her partner returned home at about 2 a.m., everything appeared normal, so they headed to bed. Around 3 a.m., Shad's mother was awakened by a door slamming and a car driving away, which she assumed was Taylor leaving. So she got up and headed down to the basement to check on Shad. When she got to the top of the basement stairs, she could see that a light was on in the basement, so she headed down. When she reached the bottom of the stairs, she noticed a bucket. It was covered by a towel. The bucket wasn't normally there and seemed extremely out of place, so she lifted the towel to see what was inside. She didn't know what she was expecting to see, but it definitely was not that. She yelled for her partner to come down. He did, then called 911.
Okay, tell me what's happening there again.
I have no clue what's happening with my girl. Swears that she's found her severed head of her son in the basement in a bucket.
Did you go down there?
I went down. I can't tell what the it's part of my language. I'm kind of a little freaked out.
Shad's mother joins in on the call.
Hello? Hi, Tara. So can you tell me what's going on?
Pretty positive my son's head is in a bucket, right now bucket in my basement.
What makes you think that?
Because I looked in the bucket.
What did you see?
Exactly what I told you.
Where's the rest of the body at?
I don't like her response. Like that marks her as like a prime suspect. Like, sounds a little too calm for her son's head to be in a bucket. And then when I ask, what did you see, to confirm, and then for you to tell me you already told me, It's kind of weird because even if I ask, and I know I asked before, if I ask again, I should at least feel some frustration as like, I told you it's my son's head in the bucket. There's a different level of response, but being like, I already told you, and then like sounding like mad nonchalant is crazy.
No idea.
When's the last time you saw your son?
Well, I guess today is Wednesday, so I picked him up from his dad's on Monday. He was here a couple hours, then he left with Taylor.
Who's that?
Taylor Coronado.
You know how to spell her last name?
Police arrive about 10 minutes later.
Did you both see this?
I opened the towel, I picked up the towel and dropped it because I don't know what the f*** is, man. I have bad vision. And she's like, is that what I think? I'm like, I don't know what the fuck it is.
Do you want to stay with those two? I'll just go see it.
Yeah.
Where's it at?
So right there. Look right, there's a bucket with a towel on it.
Just keep that.
The couple lead them to the basement, where at the bottom of the stairs there is indeed a bucket. The officers lift the towel themselves to reveal the severed head and male genitalia. They call for backup.
I know you're busy over there, but this is actually what it's going to be. It's not going to be a 961 thing or a 96 thing, so we're going to need more units here.
A bit in shock, they're not quite certain whether what they're seeing is actually real.
That's real, right? That's real.
Horrified, they escalate the call for backup.
Yeah, that's great. Like, I don't feel like you could 100% fathom reality when you see something like that and be like, yeah, I really see like a baby's or a child's head and severed genitalia in the same bucket. Like, that's incomprehensible. Even looking at it is crazy. Like, what? Dog.
If we could get more units here sooner rather than later, that'd be appreciated.
Police proceed to Shad's bedroom. There, it's evident that something brutal has taken place. There are knives, a blood-soaked mattress, a male torso inside of a storage tote, body fluid, and numerous body parts, randomly distributed throughout the room in various bags, including in plastic shopping bags. Police head for Taylor's home.
Oh my god.
Quickly replenish electrolytes lost.
I know there's a little bit of, it was a while ago, but it was a person that had just chopped, it was actually a kid that had chopped this homeless dude up. He was talking about like how it felt and when he was doing it and everything like that. But I need real concrete like facts to why people prefer to chop the body. I know it's like sometimes the stuff and dispose of stuff, but like in the moment, isn't it? Oh my gosh, like that's most of the work. Yeah, everybody got issues in this whole thing. You watched that too? Yeah, exactly. Seeing Google and found family history. This memory is. It's a ton of effort. Like that is. I would never want to partake. I'm good. My dismembering abilities comes from a chicken wing. You feel me? That's the most I'll do.
Outside her apartment, they find the van she was driving, along with what appeared to be bloody footprints leading from it.
Is this blood? Does this look like blood to you? Or am I just tripping? Bloody footprint? You see this right here?
As they tried getting a closer look at the footprints, Taylor herself emerged from her apartment.
Hi, Taylor. How's it going? Officer Russell with the Green Bay Police Department. Just make sure you ain't got nothing on you here.
There was blood on her sweatshirt and blood and scratches on her hands. Officers search her van and find Shad's leg in a crock pot box. It's off to the station with Taylor.
Oh. So did she kill him and the child? Oh, she's crazy, bro. Put a leg in a crock pot, slow heat. Was it slow broil? Got this boy slow cooking in the crock pot, yo.
At the police station, Taylor Shabusiness initially claims to have blacked out during the attack.
Blacked out.
Can you tell me what happened?
How do you explain that? Like, so imagine if everybody said that though. Oh yeah, just blacked out and just murdered my whole family. That's
a good question because I blacked out during that time.
And when they told her that they found Shad's head in a bucket, she responded,
A few hours ago, police were dispatched to an address on Stony Brook. Well, they found a kind of disturbing stuff at the house there. A lot of blood. Basically Shad's head.
and then she has a revelation.
Damn, the head. Yeah, I can't believe I left the head though.
Police continue what was less like an interrogation and more like a free-flowing faucet of increasingly gory events. Shabusiness volunteers in graphic and disturbing detail how the couple's drug-fueled turned into a bloody, savage murder, dismemberment, and everything in between. They didn't have to pull hard to extract.
I mean, yeah, I remember them saying that they were on all kinds of drugs or whatever, but how does that? What kind of combination of stuff did you have to take to black out and everybody's body part to like whoa. You don't remember a child involved? I believe it was like a little earlier when it was talking about, or in the beginning when it's talking about child or something. I think. Now you're making me second guess. But if it's just him, okay. And if so, I don't know. Now I don't even know anymore. You're still trying to get over the name Shabusiness?
Any of the details.
Crazy.
She delighted in retelling every bit of it. She explained how she and Shad had been doing drugs earlier in the day. She told police that while they were in Shad's basement bedroom, they were about to become intimate when Shad brought out 2 metal chains. One for him, and one for her. She said that it wasn't unusual for their intimate encounters to involve strangulation. So on this occasion, their intimacy...
Look, I'm all cool for the, the kinky stuff and whatever, but both y'all have been between them iron bars. Y'all guys are on drugs. Y'all are bugging. Her last name is Shabusiness. Yeah, it said her husband and her had a kid before the jail time thing, but they haven't said anything else about the kid. Okay. They're on drugs and she killed him. I don't recall her harming a child. Okay, well that's better, but that's still, the whole thing is still wild. But that's better that it wasn't a child involved as well. Oh, okay.
Involved chains around each of their necks, which Taylor described as being similar to dog choke collars. She calmly recounted how, once they were about to become intimate and Shad put the chain around his neck, she just went crazy, strangling him.
What were you thinking?
I was gonna do the same thing. You know, I was going in, and I did. And I went in. But then he was like, choke me. But he didn't really say it, so I'm like, he put it on his neck.
Oh yeah, she from the block, bro. Cause she said she was going in. I mean, she was, you know, having intercourse, but or doing the deed as far as like choke. I'm not sure if they were like in the moment of doing it and then they decided to choke, or they were choking before the moment. But she was doing the deed of choking initially, so she said she was going in and she was choking the mess out of him. Yeah.
I know I'm gonna choke him, and I did. He likes it.
Alright.
And I was gonna walk him like a dog.
And he wanted that?
I have no idea, but I was gonna do it anyway.
Despite Shad struggling, scratching at her, his face turning purple and blood coming from his mouth, she said that she wanted to see what would happen if she continued choking him. So, she choked him even harder. She said that she could still feel his heart beating, so she kept pulling and choking him harder. She said that he just would not die, but she would eventually succeed in choking 24-year-old Shad Therian to death.
I'm curious how. I mean, of course he's choking unknowingly in the beginning, so he wasn't prepared to be in that situation. But I could only imagine, like, it must have been like a collar where she's just like, I mean, it said a collar, but like a collar to where if she pulled and it would like cinch in a way to where like she could be away and like doing like a pressing and pulling from him to where it's harder to control what's going on. But I mean, he said he was fighting. I guess that's why she had like scratches and stuff, but that's kind of wild. That he wasn't able to get like a second wind, possibly. I don't know.
Like, he was coughing up blood. I'm like, I don't know, I just kept on going. Like, damn. Sorry.
You made the comment, you said that when you were choking, you was coughing up blood, you kind of were like, well, going this far, I'm just going to keep going. Did you realize that by continuing that may kill him?
Like, yeah, because I felt bad because I'm like, damn, he's going to be losing after this. I'm like, might as well.
And make sure y'all guys like the stream. Appreciate it. Share the stream. Appreciate it. Trying to grow the live channel up. You know what I mean? So we got more people.
Did you want Chad to be dead?
No, it was out of random. Like, I wasn't expecting that, and it kind of threw me off guard.
She even acknowledged that she enjoyed doing it.
I understand the kink, but I think she already crazy, but the drugs along with the kink, I don't feel like it meshed well.
You enjoyed it, right? And I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
Alright. What'd you enjoy about that?
Just
Was it kind of thrilling, a rush, exciting? What was the feeling that you got out of it?
That's all it is. I don't know.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand what you were feeling. You're saying that you enjoyed it. Did it make you happy? Was it just kind of exciting? Like opening Christmas presents? Or?
I don't know. This is
You said it was. Is it confirmed that she was diagnosed with anything? If she wasn't, that would be more terrifying. I don't think it shows that she's diagnosed with anything. Usually victims wake up in the middle of choking, no, unless it depends on what kind of choke, because there's an air choke and then a blood choke. Those are two different things. If it's an air choke, you're not waking up from that. If it's a blood choke, you can wake up from that. It just depends on how long, usually. But yeah, blood choke here, necrotic arteries. But if it's where it's crushing the windpipe, you're not waking up from that.
This is the thing that I have, like, I've always had, you know, like, you ever love something so much that you kill it? Like, it happens to me. That's the feeling that I have. I love something so much that I kill it. Like,
Excuse me? I love something so much, I kill it. How is that an alibi? I'm surprised her kids didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I could just only imagine what her kids went through.
I kill it so much and then I kill it. That's what happens to me.
But her callous, violent act was only the beginning. Once Shoe Business had murdered Shad, she went upstairs to his mother's kitchen and got several kitchen knives. With Shoe Business continuing to smirk, laugh, and express delight as she detailed her gruesome acts, she explained how she began dismembering him. She started with his head, which she claimed was her favorite part.
So we're gonna take the head somewhere?
I like that.
After she had murdered Shad, she proceeded to decapitate him with the butter knives from his mother.
She looked like she broke them, or they're probably already like, I don't know. But either way, they look dull now. You know what I mean?
His kitchen. Once she had removed his head, Shoe Business cuddled his headless corpse for 2 to 3 hours.
Excuse me? Cuddled?
From his mother's kitchen. Once she had removed his head, Shoe Business cuddled his headless corpse for 2 to 3 hours.
I don't know whether I should be happy or not, since I didn't know there was more than one type of choking. Delight, favorite part. See, I thought this was just like, all right, just dismembered, boom. But she over here having like a sensual moment with a headless body, like, or the head of the body that she decapitated. That's a first.
She then dismembered him while simultaneously engaging with his different severed body parts in ways that we will not describe. When officers asked her when she started dismembering Shad's body, she couldn't recall.
But when did you start, cutting up his body?
I don't know, like almost right away. I was and cutting at the same time.
They ask her where all the other body parts are.
So you dismembered the body too?
Yeah.
Well, what did you do with the body parts?
Oh, they're in the house. I know, I forgot the head. I wanted the head.
Did you bring anything with you?
Yeah, it's in the van.
What?
It's in the van. It's, I think it's a foot.
A foot in the van?
A leg, maybe.
She told the officers that they were going to have fun trying to find all of the organs. Along with his scattered body parts, they would also find his heart in one location and his lungs in another. By the time she was finished, Shoe Business had worn the knives down to their nubs. She claimed that the reason she dismembered him was because she knew that she had to get rid of the body to avoid being caught, but she wouldn't be able to remove him on her own, whole. So she cut him into smaller parts. When she was done, despite her plan to take his entire body with her, she said that she got lazy and only managed to take one of his legs. She had especially looked forward to taking his head and genitalia. That's why she put it in a bucket at the base of the stairs. But in her drug-induced state, she forgot to take it with her. 25-year-old Taylor Shoe Business was charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault for the acts she performed on Shad's corpse. Given that she had previously skipped bail as well as the seriousness of her crime, she was held on $2 million bail.
I don't know how to explain none of this. Yeah, and she's so casual as she does it, right? Hey, bump it up to 5 million. I mean, just in case, bump up 5 million bail.
Despite having confessed to her crimes in graphic detail, a not guilty plea was entered on her behalf by the court. Her trial was set for later that year in October 2022. But a month before the trial was to begin, her attorney added not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect to her plea, which meant that her trial would be delayed since she would need to be evaluated before trial. By November, the court ruled that she was competent to stand trial. But her defense team was persistent. Prior to the trial, they made numerous attempts to have her declare.
See, it'd be different if she had a track record of being in a mental disorderly state from like childhood, adulthood. She's taking medication, blah, blah. That'd be a little bit more understandable. But for people that claim this now, you can't backtrack. You know what I mean? Like, you did this consciously. Even though you're under, substance abuse and whatnot, but you still did, like, nobody chops up a body and then it's like, let me chop it up into smaller pieces so I could fit it in this bag.
Declared mentally impacted at the time of the offense and presently. But law enforcement testified that Shabiznes had not shown any signs of psychosis or delusions. They noted that she was calm, coherent, and involved at all points of the arrest, interrogation, and beyond.
What kind of face is that?
They testified about how she was even able to accurately recount every detail of her murderous actions during her interrogations, all of which were consistent with the evidence. But
that's because she enjoyed it. She enjoyed doing it. That's why it's unjustifiable. I'm saying, I couldn't be a lawyer because there's obviously offense then defense, but you're clearly trying to, win a case knowing that this chick murdered somebody.
Business was still not going down without a fight, literally. During a hearing in February of 2023, Shabiznes' attorney asked the judge to allow 2 more weeks for a scheduled defense expert to complete his report. Then, to everyone's surprise, Shabiznes conveniently and perhaps deliberately exhibited the not-so-stable behavior of attacking her own attorney. She took an elbow to his head before sheriff's officers were able to stop the attack and get her calmed down. They sat her against a door as the situation de-escalated. The courtroom was cleared and Shabiznes was ultimately let out. The attack did not help her cause. She was still determined to be mentally competent to stand trial. It did, however, make her short 1 defense attorney. It also earned her a couple of full-time escorts and handcuffs shackled at her waist during the hearing to rule on her attorney's resulting request to withdraw from the case. His request was granted. Shabiznes got a new attorney who fought one last time to have her deemed incompetent to stand trial. He claimed that the psychological evaluation from November of the prior year was out of date. The defense hired a forensic psychologist to interview and analyze Shabiznes, but Shabiznes refused to meet with her for months. And when she tried...
Yeah, this chick does love attention, and she is pure evil because she be smirking the whole time like this.
Shabiznes threw a chair at her. Then, a week before the actual trial was to begin, the judge granted the defense's final request for a competency hearing. The forensic psychologist had finally been able to meet with Shabiznes and took the stand to testify. Her testimony started out strong and convincing.
What is your opinion as it relates to your evaluation and assessment of Taylor Shabiznes?
My opinion is that she qualifies for the not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect. She was...
So they're trying to say within the time of the murder that she was mentally diseased then. I don't think it works that way. Take it from somebody that's still going to therapy for it. Imagine everybody claiming that, like, once they, that's called no accountability. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's not fun, but justice needs to be served.
Wasn't responsible for the criminal conduct because at the time she lacked substantial capacity to both appreciate the wrongfulness of her conduct at the time the homicide occurred, but also she lacked volitional control. She couldn't conform her conduct to the requirements of law. She was lacking in her ability to control herself, the volitional control.
But then her assessment began to take on a slightly less than clinical level of detail.
And did you talk about her presentation when she presents herself? Do you have comments about that?
Yes, my comments about that are that it's very...
So what, she was suffering a psychosis at the time of the crime, but managed to recall it perfectly and enjoy the details. That's what I'm saying. Like, are we talking about the same person? Yeah, she could clearly control herself because there's clear and concise methods that she took to be able to dismember the body. Someone that's incompetent and not aware and all the other things are not going to be able to do something as such as that.
A very, very unusual, what we call presentation. How is she looking? How does she talk? How does she interact? Everything. What's going on in her mind, whatnot. And it's really, really unusual. And I searched my own 32-year memory bank here, and it's exceptionally unusual.
How about her facial
Jeez, pick another word. It's just unusual in the mind. Unusual. And it's just unusual. Out of my 30 years, unusual. Clearly, she only freaking medically diagnosed hamsters or something.
expressions? Can you give some commentary on that from what you've seen?
Very unusual. She's been described as smirky. Smirky. She has inappropriate, grinny.
Unusual. Smirky, grinny. Usually as a child, that's called mischievous. Ever heard of that? Mischievous. Mischievous. Not smirky, grinny. What the hell is that? Smirky, grinny. I've never heard that before.
Weird, grinning. When she's talking about the crimes, looking, people have interpreted it to be like laughing.
Want to register for an LLC in 4 easy...
little funky, childish words she's using, bro. Smirky, grinny, laughy. To make it seem like it's playful. Like it's just unusual. Man, I ain't gonna say nothing.
At what she did, at times, in the jail, with evaluators, with me, at times, briefly, it's very strange. Other times looking, I can mimic it, very...
She has no words. Like, she doesn't know how to perceive her... This is her own line of work that she's been doing for 30 years, and she can't conjure up a single word that makes sense. Nothing. She's just making gestures and saying laughy, smiley, smirky. What is that?
Scowly. A lot of people.
What's with the ly? Scowly, and then everything has a freaking question mark on it. You know what I mean? Because this is how I'm talking.
Interpreted superficially to be grinning. Yeah, grinning at all, but getting a kick out of everything. Nah, not me. Based on my experience and training, that's a psychotic person right there. That's what's causing this really weird, bizarre. And I'm telling you, to me, it's off the scale. 32 years. I've seen a lot of psychotic people, bipolar, psychotic, manic, and I just haven't seen very many like this. Very exceptional, very exceptional.
Her non-clinical terminology aside, in her expert opinion, she concluded that Shabizna...
You did hear that, right? Let's dial it back.
And I just haven't seen very many like this. Very exceptional, very exceptional.
Her non-clinical terminology aside...
Non-clinical terminology. That's all she gave. Smiley, grinny, laughy. Type of, like, she said 30 years she's been doing this, and she did not state a term of any sort medically wrong with her at all. Besides anything that I'd probably use, like psychotic. Obviously, duh.
In her expert opinion, she concluded that Shabizna suffered from a bipolar disorder, potentially with psychosis, which was consistent with diagnoses Shabizna had received when she was 14, 16, and 22 years old. But the court-ordered psychologist disagreed and again deemed Shabizna competent to stand trial. Shabizna's trial finally began in July of 2023. Her defense continued to argue that she should be not guilty by reason of mental defect, and that she may have been suffering from a mental breakdown.
Oh, you said it's frozen? It's frozen on your end? Is it good now? Because everything looked good. I just checked everything. Yeah, the lady representing her could not speak anywhere near professional. It was 5th grade level, trying to tell on somebody. Yeah, she does have history. But even with, clearly within that, it doesn't correlate to this. You know what I mean? Like, you can have, say that you have a long history of panic attacks and anxiety, right? But it doesn't correlate with murder. You know what I mean?
At the time she committed the crime and when she confessed. Bay also tried to get the sexual assault charge thrown out since Shab...
If you had possible, like, schizophrenia, real delusion, and things of that nature, that would correlate more than anxiety. Oh, it's okay now? Okay, cool. Might be your end, might have to dip. Hey, gotta do what you gotta do. I appreciate you for being around.
Was dead at the time she committed the acts, and since his genitalia had been dismembered. Seemingly unfazed by any of it, Shabizna smiled and smirked throughout the trial, including when footage was being shown of her describing how she choked and mutilated Shad's body. She was particularly entertained when the friend they were hanging out with testified and made an accidental pun during his description.
When I got there, I was we were just chilling, chopping it up, like how we always do. And basically,
her reactions throughout the trial showed yet further callous disregard.
Dude really said chopping it up. That's crazy.
For the crime she committed and the life that she had taken. 2 court-appointed psychologists testified for the prosecution.
So yeah, bipolar disorder and murderous intent aren't connected. It's nasty that they're trying to throw out the SA charge, right? Like, as if this woman can't sexually assault a man. Lock the woman up for life. Yeah, I don't think she's getting out because remember her bail's at $2 million.
Prosecution, noting that since Shabiznis's actions were fueled by drugs, that she was not eligible for the mental defect plea based on Wisconsin law.
Yeah.
They also highlighted that her dismemberment of Shad's body, as well as deliberate actions she took to clean the crime scene, indicated that she knew that her actions were wrong. The prosecution also introduced a photo that Shabiznis took before the murder. It showed her next to a photo of Jeffrey Dahmer, a serial killer known for dismembering his victims.
No way.
They also presented testimony.
What? Yo. She had to be planning that the whole time. Like, there's no way you take a picture, especially a well-known murderer, like of y'all two in the same frame, and then commit technically the same type of heinous crime. Insane. You said I'd be more likely to agree on demonic possession. Hey, I'm saying. Please not. Hey, you know who likes Jeffrey Dahmer but is a celebrity? Ariana Grande, and she's a known witch. Crazy, right? She's actually into like murder and stuff like that.
Testimony that demonstrated her fascination with him, including multiple Google searches for his name, photos, and information related to his crimes just days before she murdered Shad. After just 1 hour of deliberations, Taylor Shabiznis was found guilty on all counts. The jury then needed to determine if she had a mental disease or mental defect at the time she committed the crime. Their decision would determine whether she would be sent to serve out her term in a mental institution or prison. So after just 1 more hour of deliberations, the same jury determined that Shabiznis did not suffer from a mental disease or defect during or after the crime. Taylor Shabiznis was going to prison.
Yeah.
This
Take her
game,
to prison. Get her.
you're not ready for it.
She does not deserve. I'm surprised she even got bail. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's still crazy high, it needs to be higher. But I don't care. She don't need to see the light of day, honestly.
Sentencing hearing was scheduled to determine for how long. With Wisconsin having abolished the death penalty in 1853, a life sentence was the maximum she was facing. Shabiznis arrived to the hearing wearing a spit mask, reportedly due to some recent behavior issues and for the safety of everyone around her. Such masks are typically deployed as a precaution when there is a risk of the prisoner spitting on or biting people around them. But even with the mask covering the majority of her face, it was clear that Shabiznis's demeanor had not changed. Behind the mask, Shabiznis's smile at various points throughout the hearing was still evident. Both Shabiznis's grandmother and father testified on her behalf at the hearing. Her father, who was still imprisoned, arrived to court in his orange prison uniform and led.
And if y'all remember, how much of a dirtbag his daughter is, or her father is. Remember, he essayed a little girl, and that's why he in the position he in. So her whole family crazy.
Leg and wrist shackles. He testified about Shabiznis's traumatic childhood, including the death of her mother, and of how her mental health has been an ongoing concern. Shad's father also asked the court for leniency for Shabiznis.
Taylor, I just wanted
your whole like your legitimate whole family is in prison, right? Like, y'all are both in shackles, and you're asking for forgiveness to people that are here to weigh your options. In such a heinous crime both y'all guys have done, I don't think they want any of y'all's seed to just be out and about. Guaranteed, they're just like, nah, you're good, buddy.
to say that I forgive you for what you done to my son. I know you made a bad choice, and like I said, I forgive you, and I'm going to ask the judge if he can, if she can see the streets again sometime, It may not be soon, but I believe everybody makes bad choices, and maybe not to this scale, but I think there's a lot of hope for you. I think, you can make use of your time and be a better person and do great things yet, so it does no good for me to hate you, I know you got a heart. I know you got a mind. I wish you no harm, and I hope things go well for you.
But other members of Shad's family were not quite as forgiving, including Shad's uncle Kelly Therian, who outlined why parole should not be an option.
Don't make no sense to me even to have the option of parole to come back and to gain someone's trust like that again. Because that is like the lowest thing a person can do. You know what I mean? I just don't understand that. And the biggest thing is, like I said, the help is free and it's there. You chose not to take, I'm sure you knew you had a problem, You can't blame it on childhood. There's help out there. And if you take the path to go get the help, you wouldn't be in this situation right now. None of us would be in this situation. But to take the cowardly path that you did and to make other people suffer because you were suffering is pretty shitty. So that name Taylor shit business fits you well. And I'm not a praying man, but after Judge Walsh's sentences today, I will pray that you meet the same fate as your idealistic Jeffrey Dahmer. So have a good life, shit business.
Jeffrey Dahmer's fate was being sentenced to 15 consecutive life sentences, but he only served 2 years before being beaten to death by a fellow inmate. The prosecution also asked that Shabiznis not be offered parole, noting that she killed Shad because she liked it and wanted to do it. He referenced Shabiznis's own words to the court, stating, "We have the defendant on page 7 saying, 'I don't have any regrets about what I did, and I do not feel remorseful for Shad.'" The judge sentenced Taylor Shabiznis to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 10.5 years for mutilation of a corpse and sexual assault. He noted that the public needs protection. Given that Taylor Shabiznis was...
What are you guys thinking about this? This is crazy. Just how this whole... Look, I did not know that it was going to be like this. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was just going to be, okay, normal situationship, possible murder, something, but...
was sentenced just a handful of months before the making of this video. There's not a lot of update for today's Z section. She will most likely serve out her sentence at the Tehe Correctional Institution, a medium and maximum security women's prison in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, housing about 1,000 inmates. There have been no reports of how Shabiznis has fared thus far behind bars. With both of the Shabiznises currently incarcerated, their son is being cared for by Taylor's grandparents. Taylor is said to have given up her parental rights so that her grandparents can adopt him. We hope this video did justice to Shad Therian. The judge in the case said it best when he commented that there are no superlatives to describe Shabiznis's crimes. We agree, evil and disturbing don't even scratch the surface. What are your thoughts about this case? Are you able to come up with words that describe Shabiznis and her cruel actions? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like how we presented this case, we appreciate you hitting like, sharing, and of course, subscribing so that you never miss a single video.
This is some Freaky Leak stuff. I'm telling you, most of the stuff comes from the family home. Majority. Teen serial life exposed after she goes missing. Let me see. When cops rescue boyfriend from possessive girlfriends. That's plural. Parents discover their daughter is a mass killer. That's kind of wild. The wannabe model who chose murder instead. That's a on-the-fly career change. Plumber came to fix blocked pipe, but instead solves 2 cold cases. Ew. Behind murder on OnlyFans. Idiot cop who tries. Let's see. Oh, I can't watch this one, I don't think. 44 boys gang blank teen girl. Now Korean netizens are hunting them down. This recent? Alright, it's between these two right here. These probably look like the craziest ones. Which one? Alright. We need a vote. Top or bottom? Top or bottom? He said from model to murderer. Even seen Rotten Mango coverage of the 9th Rooms. Oh, I think I remember somebody asking me about that. The 9th Room. What is the 9th Rooms about? Is it top? Alright, we have 1 vote for the top. We got 2 for top. Alright, we gotta break the tie. Well, it's not really a tie, but need at least one more vote. Top. Okay. Yeah, this one seems crazy.
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house, no matter what condition it's in.
For sure.
The 2004 Miryang middle school girl group sexual assault case has been brought back into the spotlight after 20 years by a Korean YouTuber, sparking a wave of public backlash.
Wait. Is this the one that we... Cause... Is this the one that we did, but are they now in search of... Okay, hold on, because if this is the one that I think it is, this girl went through the same traumatic thing that almost seems like it identically happened to another girl years ago, but happened to her in a similar fashion, but in Korea, to where she was literally enslaved and getting essayed like an obscene amount of times. I'm talking about like 40 to 60 times in a day for like the past like 30, 40 days, and like the most horrendous things happening to her. And the people that were put in prison for it, they weren't even in prison that long, and they're now out. I think the longest sentence that was given was like 5 or 6 years. And there was like, I mean, it said 44 of them, but I think it was a little bit more than that. But yeah, if it's that and like people are searching for them, cause I remember mentioning that. I was just like, I'm kind of surprised people aren't like searching. And then if this is the update to that, for them to search for the people that that are out, because I remember what's her name? Is her name Susan? So, you know what I'm talking about. But she was talking about the whole situation and them being out, but they haven't released like who they are, and they're just living amongst people. I wonder if it's this. It has to be this. Like, there's no way it couldn't be. It needs to be this, because if they finding them, hey, let's go. Oh, you said no? Stephanie said that's what it is. Stephanie did make a video on this case, and the internet is essentially exposing the perpetrators. No. What you're talking about was the junk. Yeah. Korean case of the nameless girl. This is different. This is a different one. This is a different one. Okay. But those other dudes need to be found too, if this is the different one. No cap. Them other ones need to be found. Alright, so let's check it out.
The case is one of the most disturbing in Korea, as the victim was a middle school girl at the time who was sexually assaulted by 44 high school boys over the course of a year. The boys eventually got off without punishment, and
Excuse me? See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, overseas, look, a lot of things that are overseas that are different from America is they have cool things, right? But the law, in comparison to America's law, from the law outside, if it's not drug related or money induced, it almost has no part in, oh, that's a crime. If it's about drugs, oh yeah, they're ready for the drug bust and throw the whole book at you. But if it's involved in defiling somebody in the worst case scenario, they're like, nah, you're good. They sweep it under the rug. That's crazy. Said this one involves 44 boys, and the one you're talking about had 4 people arrested, and they were free and charged. And changed their names. Yeah. I'm sure they could find them too.
the girl ended up not being able to go to school because schools would not accept a sexual assault victim. So she just lived a tragic life afterwards. I covered this case before, but I'll give you a detailed explanation again on what happened for those who have not watched my previous video about the case, so don't worry. A couple of days ago, this Korean YouTuber announced he was going to reveal the identities of all 44 perpetrators. He said he had directly communicated with the victims' families via email and had gotten their permission. As the real names and workplaces of the perpetrators were revealed, netizens flooded their workplace websites.
Why'd she say netizens? I've known it as netizens, but she says netizens. they're under 13 in Korea, even if they essayed someone, they don't go to jail over 13. And they go to juvie and get their record wiped. But they didn't go to jail at all. Neither juvie. So they just went back to school like nothing happened.
And Instagram accounts accusing them. Some of the perpetrators were fired from their jobs, and some businesses temporarily closed. Before we dive into this shocking reveal, let's take a moment to go back 20 years and talk about the case to understand why this identity leak is such a big deal to Koreans. The victim, only known by her surname Tehe, was born and raised in Ulsan. She had a younger sister and a younger brother and grew up in a very underprivileged household. Her father was an alcoholic and abusive, beating her mother every single day. So, unable to endure this any longer, her mother divorced him in January 2003, a year before the incident, and moved out of the house. After the divorce, the father's abuse was directed at his eldest daughter, Tehe. The verbal abuse and physical assaults were relentless. He was incompetent and drank every day, turning Tehe's life into a constant nightmare. She was unable to confide in anyone about her suffering. In January 2004, Tehe met Park through an internet chat. Park, who was then 18 years old, convinced her to come to Miryang, about an hour from Ulsan. He was part of a youth gang in the Miryang area, infamous for assaulting fellow students and stealing money from them. Once there, he beat her with an iron pipe and took the unconscious girl to a motel where he and 12 fellow teenage gang members sexually assaulted her. They took turns assaulting her, sometimes with each boy assaulting her 7 to 10 times, dragging her to motels, playgrounds, dormitories, tennis courts, and other places. These boys went to shocking lengths, even using various objects, including sexual devices, to
See, but that's what I'm talking about. Aside from the age, they knew exactly what they were doing. Therefore, they should be tried as an adult. There's plenty of, like I said, this is different from American and Korean in this instant. There's plenty of children that got tried as an adult. I'm talking about 10, 6 years old, 13 years old. They still killed somebody, did something heinous to where it, like, something like this. Ridiculous. Yeah, exactly. We have teens that are charged as an adult. Also, the fact that adults were definitely around and didn't stop them. Yeah.
torture the girl during the assaults. This later resulted in her developing serious gynecological complications that required prolonged treatment. They even filmed the assaults with cell phones and camcorders, threatening to post the footage online if she told anyone. She was terrified and ashamed, so she felt she had no choice but to stay silent. It is known that other girl students, including their girlfriends, also joined the assault and helped the boys film the act. Unfortunately, the footage has been leaked online, even though that was the last thing the victim ever wanted and tried to prevent at all costs. Their crimes didn't stop with Tehe. They also lured her 13-year-old younger sister and 16-year-old older cousin to Miryang, assaulted them, and stole their gold rings and money. So for about a year, Tehe was trapped in a nightmare, enduring abuse from the boys outside and her father at home. She couldn't tell her father about what was happening, obviously, fearing public shame and further violence. So she kept everything to herself. Finally, when Tehe's aunt noticed she was acting strange and looking unstable, she convinced her to talk about what was going on. It was only then that Tehe opened up about the horrific things she had been through. Her aunt immediately told Che's mother, who called the police on November 25th, 2004, at around 8 p.m. The police assured her that Che's identity would be strictly protected. A detective from the Ulsan Namdong police station who responded to the call also promised confidentiality. And now you'll hear about how the entire system, the police, her family, everyone who was supposed to help her, completely failed her. The police's promises to protect her identity turned out to be empty. Initially, they conducted their investigation in secret. But on December 6, 12 days after the report was filed, they carried out a mass arrest of the perpetrators and made this public. A total of 44 individuals were taken to Ulsan Nambu police station from various PC rooms and libraries in Changwon, Miryang, Ulsan, and other locations. Among them, 35 were students attending high schools in Miryang. And during the investigation, a report containing the actual surname, age, and residential area of the sexual assault victim was leaked. After arresting the perpetrators, the police issued a press release to the media. The police investigation was a mess, to say the very least. They promised the victim she'd be interviewed by female officers, but that never happened. Instead, the victim had to go through the pain of explaining her ordeal to male officers. And to make things worse, the investigators made horrible remarks to the victim, like, "Didn't you enjoy it? And go looking for it yourself." And one officer said, "I'm from Miryang and you've ruined my hometown's reputation." And I hope that was all, but there's more. The police even made the victim face...
They're worried about the reputation rather than an actual human life.
The 44 perpetrators one-on-one. Each day, the victim had to remember and recount specific details, like who assaulted her on the first day, and what exactly did they do to her, for how long, and who did it on the second day, and so on. All this in front of a male officer and the boys. Can you even imagine having to face the people, the boys who assaulted you and you're terrified of, being scolded by the police to remember the smallest details or risk proving nothing, and enduring the disdainful looks on their faces? All this while you are the victim and you're the one who should be protected. The perpetrators would look her in the eye and say, "When did I ever sexually assault you?" She was overwhelmed by their blatant lies, and she just broke down in tears. And during the investigation, the victims, yes, there were more than one. Actually, there were 5 victims in total. They were summoned 9 times, and each time they had to give statements for 7 to 8 hours. Throughout this process, they were also threatened by the perpetrators and their parents, who said things like, "We will never leave you alone. Let's see how you live well after ruining my son's life." Another genre.
The audacity, the gall, the gumption. I wouldn't be able to fathom that moment if I overheard that.
Shocking detail that shows how the victims were perceived by the police at the time is that the investigating officers further
As I said above, we watched the 9th room, but only the first half because it was too much to handle. Me? The fear and PTSD you would get from this, I can't even imagine. Yeah.
harassed them when they visited this karaoke bar that had hostesses. At the karaoke bar, they made degrading remarks about the middle school victim, Tehe, as if it was some funny joke, mentioning her by her name and telling one of the hostesses that she looked like her. And they said she looked disgusting and made them lose their appetite.
Insane. Said, isn't it awful for these interrogations to be that long for a minor? These disgusting parents and police officers, I can't even think. I feel like in some ways, some people get off on the information given as such as this.
That's what the police officer said. And now we understand why this case has been so mishandled, because even the police didn't care about the victim. A hostess who was there told the victim's family about what happened and what he said, which caused a huge public outcry. Civic and women's groups protested, and the police ended up disbanding the original investigation team of 4 officers and put together a new team with female officers.
So yeah, we watched it together on live. It was the one with the children being forced to film themselves for illegal online chats. Oh yeah. Okay, I remember that.
But as public anger grew, the prosecution stepped in and set up a special investigation unit. Chang Yong, a reporter from Changwon MBC who covered the story, explained that shortly after the incident, the police were up for promotions and seemed really eager to blow up the case to show results. Tehe and her sister couldn't live in that area anymore because their identities were exposed. In January 2005, the victims and their mother moved to Seoul, where they were admitted to Yonsei Severance Hospital for treatment. The victim's condition was extremely bad, both mentally and physically. Her doctor said she'd been neglected for a long time, and after the sexual assault, she developed serious complications. She suffered from severe depression and a lack of affection. She also had a lot of resentment towards her mom, who had left her after her parents' divorce. The doctor remembered her often crying during treatment, saying she just wanted to die. She was discharged after about a month of psychiatric treatment, but she frequently tried to take her own life, like threatening to jump in front of a subway train. Her family was worried about her extreme behavior, so they forcibly admitted her to a closed psychiatric ward. And during this time, her dad and relatives from her dad's side of the family visited her because they cared about her, because they were worried. No. They pressured her to settle with the perpetrators because the perpetrators' families had offered her dad money for a settlement. The victim, who wanted to get out of that hospital so bad, was manipulated by her dad. And legally, there was no way to stop her father's guardianship. In the end, she followed her dad's lead, wrote a settlement agreement and a petition asking for leniency for the perpetrators. Her dad received 50 million won in settlement money. He used
Why should it just be equivalent to like $2,000, bro?
used 15 million won to rent a house on the outside.
Okay, you're not gonna just say the amount and not say USD. Okay, there it is. So 50 million won is $36,000. There couldn't be any amount of money anybody could offer me if I heard something like that. No way. I'm ruining every single one of y'all's life. All 44 of y'all. Y'all won't be able to get a job. Y'all won't be able to breathe air without somebody staring at you, you wouldn't be nothing. Everybody gonna know what you did.
In settlement money, he used 15 million won to rent a house on the outskirts of Ulsan and split the rest with relatives. The victim and her sister didn't get a single penny. And as you may have guessed, the settlement and the petition ended up significantly reducing the perpetrator's sentences.
Wow.
The victim later regretted agreeing to it, but by then it was too late. With some persuasion from the Sexual Violence Counseling Center, her father agreed to transfer custody of the sisters to their biological mother. The family was split up. The sisters lived with their mother in Seoul, while their younger brother stayed with the father in Ulsan. In Seoul, they had to live in a rented room and get by on welfare assistance. And then the sisters faced another devastating blow. They got news that their father had died from alcohol-related issues during the perpetrator's sentencing trial. Well, personally, after what he had done to her, I honestly don't feel too bad for him. But anyways, yeah. The victim and her sister, along with their mother, sued the state over the police's humiliating investigation. On March 18th, 2007, the Seoul High Court ruled that the state had to pay 30 million won to Tehe, 10 million won to her sister, and 10 million won to their mother. The Supreme Court upheld this decision on June 16, 2008. Sadly, the victim never finished high school. In April 2005, she and her mother looked for a new school, but they were turned down everywhere because of the scandal. After a lot of pleading by her lawyers, she finally got into a public high school in Seoul, but only after visiting around 10 schools.
Eve to me is basically free.
Oh my goodness.
It's a giant open universe where you...
And then something unexpected happened. The parents of one of the perpetrators showed up at her new school, asking her to write a petition for their son in juvenile detention. When she saw the mother of the perpetrator, she was terrified, and she hid in the bathroom. The mother followed her, making a scene, and she ended up dropping out of school. Her lawyer Kang Ji-won mentioned that after dropping out of school, she didn't have much to do. She spent a lot of time on the computer, stayed in PC rooms, and worked various part-time jobs. At times, she gained a lot of weight because of binge eating and couldn't hold a steady job, just moving from one part-time gig to another. In total, 44 students were directly involved in the sexual assault.
I couldn't tell you why she's getting treated like crap and she's the victim. Beats the hell out of me.
Of the middle school girl in Miryang. Prosecutors have only charged 10 of them. Of the remaining 34, 20 were sent to the juvenile department, and 13 were released as not guilty because they had settled with the victim or were not included in the complaint. One was sent to another office because he was involved in another case. In April 2005, the Ulsan District Court decided to send all 10 indicted individuals to the Juvenile Detention Center, so no one has been criminally prosecuted in this case. They all completed their...
Yeah, the extremist type is what it seems to me. It's extreme one way or the other. Yeah, even the brief overview is a lot too.
Legal punishment without leaving any criminal record. For the students sent to the Juvenile Detention Center, the prosecution argued that the assault or intimidation wasn't severe enough to prevent the victim from resisting and that there was insufficient evidence. So the case concluded like that, leaving many seething with anger and disbelief. And now, 20 years later, a YouTuber who has been meticulously gathering information on the perpetrators, has people reflecting that what goes around comes around, and that there truly are no secrets in life. The controversy started on June 1st this year, so that's a couple of days ago, when a YouTube channel named Narak Archive uploaded a video titled Miryang Sexual Assault Ringleader, and his name, Did You Think I Wouldn't Find You? The YouTuber began revealing the current whereabouts of the perpetrators involved in the Miryang sexual assault case from 20 years ago. In one video, it was disclosed that a man surnamed Pak, a ringleader of the incident, now in his 30s, was working at a popular restaurant in Cheongdo County run by his relative. The video also mentioned that celebrity chef Baek Jong-won had featured this restaurant as a must-visit place. The YouTuber claimed that the restaurant was raking in money and was trying to downplay Pak's role by saying he was just a part-timer. Pak reportedly filed a complaint about the video, citing invasion of privacy. Despite this, the restaurant received numerous one-star reviews, which is like a death sentence for restaurant owners, causing significant damage to the business. A restaurant representative expressed frustration, saying that while it's true his father hired Pak, they themselves had nothing to do with the crime. And also, it was revealed that the restaurant was operating in an illegally constructed building, leading to a corrective order from Cheongdo County. The restaurant has since closed temporarily, posting a notice that read, "As of June 3rd, 2024, we are temporarily closed for expansion and relocation." According to the video, since the incident, the main perpetrator Pak changed his name and has been living comfortably with his family. Pak is currently married and raising a daughter. On his account, he had posted messages expressing his affection for his daughter, saying things like, "I will remove all the obstacles in your life and be the most reliable father, and live your life spending the money I earn for you. Exercise, take care of yourself, and rely on your dad. That's all I want for you." Ironic, isn't it? His account has been deleted ever since the reveal. The incident also brought renewed attention to a woman surnamed Hwang, a current police sergeant who, during the time of the incident, had posted messages defending the perpetrators online. Hwang passed the police officer exam in 2010 and has been working in the Gyeongnam area. In 2012, Hwang issued an apology. It was also revealed that after becoming a police officer, Hwang changed her name and started a family. Netizens criticized Hwang's past actions and demanded a response from the police station. They left comments like, "Does this police station promote people who defend criminals?" And Is this where people with a criminal past and a new name can become police officers? Great disguise skills, really commendable. Just 2 days after revealing Pak's identity, on June 3rd, the YouTube channel Narak Archive released information about
it is actually pretty easy to change your name, like extremely easy. It's just like if you're getting married and change your last name, like crazy easy. I think it's like only $60. Well, America it's $60, I believe, $60 or $70. But yeah, you constantly hear people changing their names all the time.
Another alleged perpetrator, Shin, a man in his 30s. According to the video, Shin works at a foreign car showroom in Gimhae, Gyeongnam, owns 3 luxury cars, and enjoys a lavish lifestyle, including golfing on weekends. Shin had also posted a photo of a middle-aged woman on Instagram with the caption, "My beloved mother, I'll make sure you live happily forever." Shin's Instagram account disappeared quickly, but netizens found his blog and flooded it with negative comments. Like with Park and Hwang, the Volvo car showroom where Shin worked faced numerous complaints. The showroom's portal site received a flood of one-star reviews, and its Instagram account was bombarded with hateful comments. So on June 4th, the showroom issued an official statement saying they take the matter very seriously and have terminated the employee involved. And according to the YouTuber, the remaining perpetrators are tipping off each other about each other's crimes and identities to prevent their identities from spreading. But there are also concerns about this kind of vigilante justice. Some people are saying that distrust in the judicial system doesn't justify private retaliation, and that revealing personal information is legal, comparing it to a witch hunt. There was also concern about the possibility of innocent people being wrongly targeted and suffer from this. Even more troubling is that after the video was uploaded, the personal information of the perpetrators' wives, families, and siblings was also exposed. This has led to unintended victims, with ordinary people expressing distress over their unexpected involvement. As I mentioned before, the YouTube channel Narak Archive has posted a notice stating, "I have already communicated with the victims' families via email, and we have decided to disclose."
Instead, the family giving father money, how easy is it to hope every last one is weeded out? Yeah, I think in some sense every last one will be weeded out.
All 44 perpetrators. But in an interview with a Korean news outlet, the Korean Sexual Violence Counseling Center stated that the victim's side was not asked for consent or consulted prior to the YouTube channel's disclosure of the perpetrators' identities. They were unaware of this until the video was posted. They reported that the victims requested the video to be taken down on June 3rd, but haven't received a response. According to the organization, the victims also expressed their dismay and concern over the unilateral vigilante justice being carried out without respecting their wishes. They felt that attacking the perpetrators without prior consent and causing social outrage amounts to private revenge and secondary victimization. The YouTube channel Narak Archive added to the controversy by disclosing a person who was rumored to be the current girlfriend of Shin, the main perpetrator who assaulted the Miryang victim with a metal pipe. So internet users also started to target this woman, surnamed Chung, the owner of a nail salon in Miryang, leading to malicious attacks on the salon and severe damage. When Shin's identity was revealed, netizens launched cyber attacks on the innocent woman's blog, Instagram, and contact details. But Chung issued a statement online to clear her name, saying, "I am being subjected to a witch hunt. I'm making this statement because my acquaintances and business are suffering." She clarified that she is not Shin's girlfriend. She also said that she planned to file a petition with the police and take legal action. Experts suggest that people are supporting these acts of private retribution, such as revealing the perpetrator's personal information online, because they feel that the judicial system completely failed the victims. These actions have clear legal problems, such as violating privacy laws and potentially causing defamation. Because these public disclosures seem to have a stronger impact than formal legal punishments, the issue is likely to continue getting a lot of attention. And before we close this chapter, many of you might be wondering how Tehe is doing now. I wish I could tell you that she, now in her 30s, has spent the past 20 years on a path of recovery, supported by many, but unfortunately the reality is far from this. The YouTuber doesn't go into detail about her current state, but after speaking with her family, he felt compelled to reveal the identities of the perpetrators because her life remains shattered compared to theirs. Even now, she is grappling with depression, anxiety, anorexia, and bulimia, and is struggling to make ends meet through temporary jobs. Meanwhile, the perpetrators are living in luxury. Though hard to verify, an online user claiming to know the perpetrators mentioned that these former youth gang members still meet regularly and talk about the victim as if what they did was some kind of achievement or a fond memory of the past. This heartbreaking contrast between their carefree lives and her ongoing suffering is so painful to even imagine. I find myself torn about the public revealing of the perpetrators' identities. While it can bring a sense of justice, it also raises ethical concerns and potential harm to unintended parties. My foremost hope is for Tred's well-being and for her to find the support she needs to heal. This case reminds us of the crucial need for comprehensive social support in cases of sexual violence. Korea has changed a lot since the incident, and I would like to believe that sexual violence victims are no longer treated the way Tehe was. But we must continue to push for a society where victims are heard, protected, and supported throughout their recovery journey, ensuring that justice is served without causing further harm. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.
Tough. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with me once again. Like I said, I'm gonna be working on a schedule to where I have my lives and everything all set up, so then everybody could join at that particular time instead of just boom out of nowhere. But yeah, this was a good session. This was a good one. Isn't there a way for the government to offer her assistance? I'm sure, but I don't know to what extent, and clearly they didn't care before, so I don't know. I think that would just be up to netizens and everybody that's willing to offer assistance. I don't know what's going on, what's going to take for her to change. So many horrible things have happened. The feminist movement has started in Korea, but the women who are feminists are attacked. That's a tough one, because I mean, obviously, me being not in Korea, I wouldn't necessarily know how to deal with that situation. Hey, what up? We about to end the live. Sadly enough, we about to end the live. Twas a good one. I'd highly suggest you watch the live back, because I think it's well worth it. A lot of juicy details. Even having short hair gets you attacked as a feminist. Attacked as a feminist, as a woman there. I wouldn't really. I did not know the hair length would have got you hemmed up. Feminist is seen extreme radical. Oh, okay. Well, appreciate it. Cool. I'm glad that you're able to stay with the live as you was doing your thing. But yeah, how about let's do this. Next stream I do is gonna be on food. Did you say specifically Korean food, or were you just saying food in general? Cause I can't remember. So you were lurking. Lo. You were here, just not in chat. For us show, you were here in heart. Blessings. But next stream we're gonna do one on food. But what kind was it? You're gonna have to refresh my memory. We were talking about Korean food to prepare you for your trip. Yeah. All right, so it's gonna be Korean food. Yeah, I'm all for it, 100%. Oh, turn up! I got gifted. Yeah, blessings. Appreciate the gift. Was gifted membership. Everybody gifted member. Hey, hey, turn it up. Come on. Yeah. Blessings for everybody. Hey, everybody gotta say thank you. It should be. Cause I just got asked if by YouTube if I was allowed to if I could allow gifts, and I just allowed it, so I'm sure it will go now, but yeah. It shows that it was gifted membership. Yeah. But yeah, hey. Turn up the gifts. Blessings for everybody. It's Liddy. Liddy in the city. But yeah, like I said before, like I want to make sure I could have a schedule. So I'm still working on a proper schedule where I could just stick to it on a weekly basis. To where it's like, okay, this day, this time, going live. You know what I mean? And so everybody could follow it. So everybody could tune in. Everybody could make time for their schedule whenever they want to drop in or whatever. Say hello, how you doing? Oh, it doesn't let you pick. It shows like a bunch of people that you put on. Was those not the ones that you picked? Or were you just trying to pick individually? Allow gifts. Yeah, it says you could receive it when include lobby. You can still receive gifts at channel. It shows the gifts. It shows you blessing the gifts. YouTube picks who to gift it to. Oh, really? So, is it like picking the most active people or something, or what? Because YouTube notifications suck. So if you know when, that's great. Yeah. Though it would be better for me to, like I said, have a schedule. What I should do is just post a month, like a whole month, right? And then show the days that I'm posting videos and the days that I'm going to be going live. And then you could always refer to like the month of August, and it's like, okay, everything, bam, you know what I mean? I think that'd be cool. Yeah, because YouTube's notification is absolute garbage. Garbaggio. For whatever reason, I have zero clue. Like, some people don't get a notification until 40 minutes in, and I'm like, oh, or they don't get a notification at all, which is crazy too. So that's why I also tried to implement posting on the community page so then people could see it or whatever. But yeah. Are those names accurate? It's cool. We'll all eventually have subs. Yep. Blessings. Appreciate you. Blessings, blessings. Out here blessing the whole community. Yeah. But yeah, hey, what up? What up? But yeah, I'm gonna be ending this stream in just a moment, but just to let you know, everybody, so the next stream we're gonna be doing food, Korean food specifically. So we're gonna be checking that out. We're gonna look at all the shenanigans, probably a few mukbangs and this, that, and third. Hey, you guys could send in requests whenever, as far as what you guys want to see. And yeah, we're gonna turn up. It's gonna be fun. Let me actually look at my schedule, because this coming up week is gonna be quite busy because I'm gonna be getting married this week. So family and all types of stuff is coming in. And I know some people be like, oh, don't try to put so much on your plate. Look, I'm the kid that goes in line on Thanksgiving Day and puts everything on my plate. So I at least want to get one more stream in before this month ends. So I'd like it to be, it probably can't be tomorrow, but I think Tuesday. See, it's the 23rd. All right, so I'm gonna do the 23rd Eastern time. I want to make it early, so let's say the 23rd Eastern time at 11 a.m. Let's do that. Okay. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, it's gonna be vlogged. So y'all guys are gonna be able to see the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be dope. One day, as you know, this channel progresses and we do all the things, you're gonna probably see more vlogs of me going out and about and probably doing my little travel thing and everything, and probably even mukbangs and whatnot. And then you'll see my fiance now, but then wife, be integrated into all my shenanigans. So I think that'd be cool. So it's a cooking stream or reaction to cooking, pretty much. Yeah. I love cooking, so anything that involves food, I'm with that. So I highly advise everybody bring snacks or your food or whatever, because why would you want to be hungry while watching food? You know what I mean? That'd be terrible. It could be our personal wedding celebratory food stream. Exactly. We're going to turn up for it. Everyone have an awesome weekend. Yeah, blessings to everybody. Blessings. Do we have a Discord or a poll to send requests? We don't. But I was thinking about a Discord. So I think that'd be cool to have as a Discord. I do have Discord too, so you're literally going to the Asian market this week to stock up as well. Hey, turn up. Let's go. Even better. Huh. Okay. So I was thinking about a Discord. My friends got Discords and stuff for their own channels and whatnot. So I should probably have a Discord as well that will be like fully integrated into all the shenanigans, right? But I think that'd be cool. Put some more thought into that. Make a post for now, and we can put some suggestions there. Okay. So Do you guys want a poll of like what kind of food stream you guys want, or what? Yay, snacks. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure everybody has snacks. Everybody get your snacks, because I don't like being hungry watching people eat. Cooking is probably like one of the best skills to have ever. The ability to cook. It's almost a lost art. Yikes. But yeah, all right. I'm gonna make sure to post about that. You know what I mean, Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Hopefully that's fitting for all, if not most. Reaction to this one guy cook. What is that? I don't know what that is. No, I'm gonna make a post. I'm gonna make a post on like suggestions or whatever for the next one, as far as what you guys would like. I'll do like a suggestion poll, and then people could put whatever they want in the comments as well if I'm missing anything. Egg and rice, yeah. My favorite breakfast, honestly, is rice with like an avocado and egg, like 2 eggs or something like that. Not scrambled, over easy. I like putting cayenne pepper, some salt, onion powder. Come on. With some lime juice. Whew, stop playing. Yeah, I'll just post about it. Stephanie So is also putting up vlogs from her trip to Korea. I think she has a different channel though. That's the thing. So I'm in between worlds right now. So I'm thinking that I'll do my thing on here, and then I've already talked about it with my fiance that we could have like either a separate channel where it's just us, you know what I mean? And everything like relationship wise and whatever, like we'll post like once a week or something light. Do something like that, but more community. Or we'll do like a vlog, like we'll vlog all week, and then we'll post like once, like a week vlog. So it'd probably be like an hour long vlog or something like that. ASMR is wild. But yeah, everybody, gotta get going. Love each and every one of you guys. Guys, have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, morning, night. And I'll see you guys soon. Peace.